Chapter 829. What a terrifying aura! After entering the 9 celestial walls, Yi Qinfeng saw a tall and straight figure standing in the endless starry sky. Although he was just standing there and his face couldn't be seen clearly, he gave Yi Qinfeng a majestic and unshakable feeling. I forgot how many years it has been since someone came here. The towering figure slowly turned around and looked at Yi Qinfeng, who had a sharp aura and stood out from the crowd. He said in a deep voice, "You are not bad." "You are." Yi Qinfeng sensed his kingly aura, the pressure he unconsciously gave off, and the vigorous life force in his body. He felt that he was different from the other candidates in the previous 8 layers of space. He seemed to have flesh and blood and was of real existence. "You can call me Star King." The majestic figure revealed an unruly smile and said in a shocking manner, "Star King, you are Star King." Yi Qinfeng's eyes bulged and his heart was in turmoil. The way he looked at the majestic figure changed completely. He never dreamed that the challenger of the 9 celestial walls would be the number 1 person in Xingluo, Star King. "Yes, it is me." Star King stood majestically and said without any emotion, "Senior, you're not dead?" Feeling the vigorous life force in Star King's body, Yi Qinfeng asked in surprise. If Star King was not dead, then he must have broken the shackles of life and reached a level that Yi Qinfeng couldn't understand. However, he couldn't figure out why Star King appeared in Xingluo's 9 celestial walls. "No, I am already dead. What you see now is my avatar in Xingluo's 9 celestial walls." Star King slowly said with his hands behind his back, "Avatar? But Senior, why is your avatar's life force so vigorous? And why did you leave your avatar in Xingluo's 9 celestial walls?" Yi Qinfeng asked in confusion. "This clone of mine has fused with a stone of life, which is why it can withstand the baptism of time without dying. As for why I left my clone here, I will tell you when you defeat me. All right, you have 2 paths now. Either you retreat and return to the 8-Zhang celestial wall to leave your name there, or you accept my test and defeat me. However, I won't show any mercy during the test. Therefore, if you fail the test, you will be killed by me." Star Emperor said emotionlessly, "Junior is willing to accept Senior's test." Although Yi Qinfeng felt somewhat powerless when facing the Star Emperor, the publicly recognized number 1 person in the Xingluo continent, he did not retreat. Moreover, he felt that the Star Emperor must have a secret for leaving his avatar in the 9 layers of celestial walls, so he was prepared to fight with all his might. "All right, since you've made your choice, let's begin the test. As long as you can injure me, the test will be considered a success." As he spoke, Star Emperor's aura and battle-intent soared, causing the surrounding space to tremble. His terrifying aura was like a mountain pressing down on Yi Qinfeng, breaking down his mental defense. 8 Sha Azura Art. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and circulated the 8 Sha Azura Art at high speed. 8 killing halos appeared behind him, releasing rolling killing power and tearing apart the aura and pressure released by Star Emperor. "I didn't expect you to have cultivated the 8 Sha Azura Art to perfection. It seems like your killing aura is very dense." Seeing the 8 killing halos condensing behind Yi Qinfeng, Star Emperor moved his arm, and a long sword emitting starlight appeared in his hand. He slashed with the sword, and a shocking sword light pierced through the sky like a dancing silver dragon. It carried a shocking destructive power and slashed towards Yi Qinfeng's head. Sword step! Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge when Star Emperor slashed with his sword. He quickly took a step forward, and 80 sword Dao pattern shot out, tearing a spiderweb-like crack in the space. It turned into a boundless sword rain and greeted the attack. The 2 powerful attacks clashed together, and the 80 sword Dao patterns shook violently. A large number of sword Dao patterns were instantly shattered and couldn't withstand the sword light slashed by Star Emperor. However, Yi Qinfeng, who was using the sword step, had already crossed over 30 meters and dodged Star Emperor's attack. 8-layered, sword Dao intent. You are indeed extraordinary. You have comprehended the sword Dao to this extent at such a young age, Star Emperor said in a plain voice. He continued to attack with the starlight long sword in his hand. The crisscrossing sword marks sealed off Yi Qinfeng's dodging space. 5 elements Dao intent, life and death Dao intent, heaven and earth Dao intent. The dodging space was constantly sealed off by Star Emperor's sword lights. Yi Qinfeng immediately released the 3 fused Dao intents and deduced the power of Dao. It condensed into a huge Dao intent hand and slapped repeatedly, tearing apart the sealing sword lights. Junior, you are really surprising me more and more. It is already amazing to be able to comprehend one of the 3 fused Dao intents. You actually comprehended all 3 at the same time and even comprehended them to the 6th layer. Considering your amazing talent, I will spare your life no matter if you succeed or fail. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's shocking talent, Star Emperor cherished talent and couldn't bear to kill him. Thank you, Senior, but I am confident that I won't lose, Yi Qinfeng said unyieldingly. The power of the God-Eater brain radiated out and sent Star Emperor's every move looking for his flaws. Haha, then let me see what the source of your confidence is. Star Emperor laughed loudly with lofty sentiments. His entire body suddenly spun and turned into a starlight storm. It tore apart the space and swept towards Yi Qinfeng. Divine demon bloodline ignite. As Star Emperor swept over, Yi Qinfeng didn't hesitate to transform into his divine demon body. His entire body was as strong as steel. 7 swords of judgment, destroy! Yi Qinfeng used his hand as a sword and swung his arm that was as hard as a mid-grade Dao artifact. He slashed out a slash that could destroy space and ruthlessly slashed towards the starlight storm. Suddenly, boundless energy erupted and formed a tidal wave that wantonly attacked the space. The powerful energy caused cracks to appear in the space as if it was about to collapse. However, the Xingluo skywall was a treasure. It instantly restored the destroyed space and strengthened the space. Kachacha! When the destructive sword light slashed open a gap in the starlight whirlpool, it was broken by the twisting force of the whirlpool. At this time, Yi Qinfeng continued to swing his sturdy arms and slashed out 18 swords in the blink of an eye. They overlapped and slashed on the starlight whirlpool. Powerful strength, terrifying Dao intent, and chilling killing force intersected and constantly weakened the power of the starlight whirlpool. Break! Following the Star Emperor's roar, the 18 swords of Dao intent that Yi Qinfeng slashed out instantly shattered. However, Yi Qinfeng launched a new attack with a force of 65 million kilograms. The 3 fused Dao intents were like huge waves that were rising higher and higher. They surged and violently bombarded and finally broke the starlight whirlpool that the Star Emperor launched. It's lit up. The 90-foot sky wall is lit up. That person has really entered the 9-layer jade wall space. The crowd that had patiently waited under the Xingluo sky wall for 2 days realized that the 90-foot sky wall had suddenly lit up. Their spirits shook as they stood up one after another and revealed a deep sense of excitement. If Yi Qinfeng could really create a miracle and leave his name on the 90-foot sky wall, then they would be the ones who witnessed the miracle. It was enough for them to brag about for the rest of their lives. Just as the densely packed crowd raised their heads in anticipation of the final result, dozens of Xingluo Heaven City experts quietly appeared and secretly engraved a large number of array patterns to seal the space around the Xingluo sky wall. Xiao Bingyan would never allow outsiders to obtain the secrets of the Xingluo sky wall. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 830. almost 70 million pounds of strength. Junior, you are really surprising me more and more. Sensing the power bursting out from Yi Qinfeng's body, Astro Emperor was surprised again. Even he was surprised by the skills that Yi Qinfeng had displayed, and he admired Yi Qinfeng even more. Perhaps you really have a slim chance of passing the test. As he spoke, Astro Emperor moved slightly and drew an afterimage in the endless starry sky. He slashed out a large amount of starlight sword light and attacked Yi Qinfeng rapidly. So fast! Seeing that Astro Emperor had increased his speed to the extreme and was beyond what his eyes could capture, Yi Qinfeng closed his eyes and controlled the God-Eater brain to lock onto Astro Emperor's rapid figure. He used the sword steps to dodge. The extremely fast afterimage cut through the space. A large amount of star Dao intent formed an extremely destructive starstorm that kept sweeping towards Yi Qinfeng. Break! Break! Being engulfed by the storm formed by the star Dao will, Yi Qinfeng unleashed the power of his sword steps to the extreme. Sword-based Dao patterns gushed out at an extremely fast speed, continuously tearing apart the star storm and weakening the power of the star Dao will. However, the star storm formed by Astro Emperor was too powerful. Yi Qinfeng, who was like a lonely boat, couldn't tear through it with the sword steps. Golden Body Secrets. Trapped in the star storm, Yi Qinfeng's god-demon body was under tremendous pressure. He had no choice but to use the Golden Body Secrets immediately. A layer of defensive golden light covered his crimson body, which increased his defense by 50% to resist the starstorm. You have a lot of skills, but they are mainly for defense. They can't hurt me. Sensing that Yi Qinfeng had used the Golden Body Scripture and that his physical body was stronger than an ordinary mid-grade Dao artifact, Astral Emperor increased the intensity of the astral storm. It shook the void and bombarded Yi Qinfeng with earth-shattering force. Dragon Heart Ignite. Being pushed back by the starstorm, Yi Qinfeng had to ignite his dragon heart. The rolling blood essence poured into his body and increased his strength again. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng poured Dao will, slaughter energy, and 65 million kilograms of strength into his arms, tearing apart the astral storm as he approached Astral Monarch. The power of dragons. Interesting, very interesting. Feeling the power of the dragon heart, Star Emperor was shocked again. He didn't expect that Yi Qinfeng, who was so young, had so many secrets. However, he did not slow down his attacks. As Yi Qinfeng approached, he quickly brandished his starlight sword and slashed at him. Chi! Star Emperor hacked at Yi Qinfeng's body with his sword, easily splitting his body into two halves. However, seeing Yi Qinfeng split into two halves, Star Emperor wasn't happy. Instead, he was shocked. This was because he discovered that his sword had only hit Yi Qinfeng's afterimage, not his real body. While he was shocked, Star Emperor sensed danger behind him. He turned around without hesitation and blasted out a dazzling fist to welcome Yi Qinfeng's Dao will fist. The two fists that were filled with the power of destruction collided with each other, and a shocking power of Dao insight exploded out, causing dense ripples to appear in the air. Dang, dang, dang! After colliding with Star Emperor's fist head-on, Yi Qinfeng felt an unimaginable power rushing into his arm. His arm went numb from the shock, and he couldn't help but retreat. As Yi Qinfeng retreated, Star Emperor quickly slashed out with his sword. A mercury-like sword light slashed at Yi Qinfeng's body and sent him flying. A deep sword wound appeared on Yi Qinfeng's chest, and a large amount of blood seeped out. Life Dao pattern repair. Yi Qinfeng used his mind to control the life Dao pattern to repair the wound on his chest quickly. He ignored the injuries on his body and continued to attack Star Emperor with his arms. You won't be able to hurt me with this kind of attack. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's Dao will fist radiance, Star Emperor was unmoved. He waved his starlight sword and continuously shattered Yi Qinfeng's attacks. When the two of them collided with each other and started to kill each other, Yi Qinfeng suddenly opened his mouth and spat out the wrath of God's punishment, which had fused together and turned into fine needles. The needles shot toward Star Emperor at close range. Facing the sudden attack of the wrath of God's punishment, Star Emperor didn't show any panic. He quickly pointed his finger at the wrath of God's punishment. Before the wrath of God's punishment could explode, he had crushed it and destroyed the 3 sky spirits. 7 swords of judgment. Emperor Sky, sword art. After spitting out the fury of divine punishment and failing his sneak attack, Yi Qinfeng's arms moved quickly. He slashed out the sword of judgment with one hand and the Emperor Sky, sword art with the power of the Emperor with the other as he continued to attack Star Emperor. Junior, your attack power might not be bad, but it is still too far away from injuring me. If your attack is only like this, then you are destined to fail. The starlight sword in Star Emperor's hand was brandished, and the invincible starlight swords kept breaking Yi Qinfeng's attacks, suppressing his attacks and tearing his body apart. Strong, too strong. After witnessing Star Emperor's unrivaled strength, Yi Qinfeng revealed a trace of helplessness. He constantly increased the God-Eater brain's deduction speed and searched for Star Emperor's weakness. However, Star Emperor's clone was too strong and didn't seem to have any weakness. Yi Qinfeng couldn't find any weakness. 9 swords of starlight. After breaking Yi Qinfeng's attack, Star Emperor's body turned blurry and instantly intertwined with 9 starlight shadows, slashing 9 swords at Yi Qinfeng. The dazzling starlight sword sealed off all of Yi Qinfeng's dodging space and forced him to swing his arms to receive the attacks. Boom! 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 9 deafening explosions sounded. Star Emperor's 9 starlight swords all slashed on Yi Qinfeng's body, leaving sword marks on his body that surpassed mid-grade Dao artifact. Yi Qinfeng was sent flying and fell heavily on the ground. If Yi Qinfeng wasn't strong enough, this attack would be enough to destroy Yi Qinfeng's body and kill him. Huff! Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and covered his body with life Dao patterns. While suppressing his injuries, he clenched his teeth and continued to attack Star Emperor. Boom! 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 Yi Qinfeng ignored his injuries and continued to attack Star Emperor, setting off endless waves. When Yi Qinfeng relied on his powerful physical body to take on Astro Emperor's extremely destructive punch, 10 marks of heavenly way surged out of his body and transformed into a terrifying might of heavenly way. They whistled as they bombarded Astro Emperor, forcing him to take 3 steps back. What Dao intent is this? Star Emperor raised his eyebrows and revealed a surprised expression. He was shocked by the Heaven Dao Might and was even shocked by the power of the Heaven Dao Might. I'm not injured. Yi Qinfeng wasn't discouraged when he saw that the Heaven Dao Might had moved Star Emperor but wasn't able to injure him. He wanted to borrow the power of the Heaven Dao Might and continue to move Star Emperor, looking for a breakthrough. Star Dao Diagram. Yi Qinfeng was shocked by the Heaven Dao Might's attack. Star Emperor didn't show any mercy. The tenfold Star Dao intent in his doppelganger completely erupted and quickly gathered the Star Dao Diagram. The moment he gathered the Star Dao intent, his aura underwent a tremendous change. It was as if the entire world was under his control. In this place, he dominated everything. He was God. Mobile reading site. Book address. For your convenience, you can click on bookmark at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 831. Dao Diagram. Seeing Astro Emperor's Dao Diagram, Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank into the most dangerous pinholes. Although he felt a strong sense of danger from the Dao Diagram, he also knew that when Astro Emperor formed the Dao Diagram, it was also the best opportunity to attack him. True Dragon Transformation. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and combined it with the power of the Dragon Heart. He unleashed the most powerful offensive mystique he had mastered. He instantly transformed into a ferocious, true dragon with boundless murderous intent that swept through everything and crashed toward the Astral Emperor. Dragon race mystique. Astro Emperor raised his eyebrows and was shocked by the power of the true dragon transformation. Without hesitation, he quickly formed the Tao diagram in front of him to defend against the attack. Boom! When the divine dragon that Yi Chunfeng had transformed into crashed into the star Tao diagram, it formed an extremely violent shock wave. It was like a hurricane sweeping away the clouds and sweeping away the sand in all directions. Heaven's merciless Tao, dark extreme Tao, illusory dragon water shadow. Yi Qinfeng saw that the Tao diagram was cracked by his true dragon transformation. Without hesitation, he used a powerful Tao technique to attack the Tao diagram, wanting to destroy it. Once the Tao diagram was broken, Astro Emperor would most likely be injured by the Tao diagram's backlash. Star Tao diagram destroy. Astro Emperor's pupils shrank. Relying on his powerful strength, he used the Tao diagram that was full of cracks to shatter Yi Qinfeng's Tao technique and explode the Tao diagram. Boom! A thunderous explosion sounded in the ninefold space. The terrifying sound was like the roar of a god, causing fear to rise in people's hearts. Oh no! Looking at the erupting energy, Yi Qinfeng's expression changed drastically. He used the sword steps to dodge at full speed. However, the explosion of the Tao diagram was too terrifying. It tore the extremely hard ninefold space apart, causing cracks that couldn't be healed for a long time. Yi Qinfeng, who couldn't dodge in time, was sent flying thousands of meters away. His entire body smashed heavily into the hard sky wall, and a large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. Look! The Xingluo sky wall cracked at the 90-meter mark. Oh my God, what happened inside? It actually cracked the Xingluo sky wall. This has never happened in millions of years of history. Seeing the star Tao diagram explode and the sky wall that was torn, the outside world kept hearing the gasps. The spectators were all stunned by the scene in front of them, and their minds went blank. This. Could that person really pass the final test and leave his name on the 90-meter sky wall? Sha Renjie was flabbergasted as he looked at the broken sky wall. It was as if he had seen a ghost. It seems like I was right. That person is very likely related to Astro Emperor. Sha Bingyun, who is as cold as ice, murmured in her heart as her eyes flashed with a cold light. City Lord, should we capture that little girl first? Cha Renjie glanced at the spirit fish that was meditating cross-legged as he transmitted his voice to the city lord. No need to rush. Let me see that person first. Sha Bingyun waved her hand and said indifferently. Although Sha Bingyun didn't make a move on the spirit fish, she increased the number of people and completely sealed the space. Once the negotiation with Yi Qinfeng failed, she would kill Yi Qinfeng with lightning speed to prevent future troubles. Not bad. You were just a little bit away from injuring me. Star Emperor walked through the chaotic space with heavy steps. He walked step by step towards Yi Qinfeng, who was severely injured and coughing up blood, and praised him. Junior, I will ask you one last time. Are you still going to persist? If you give up now, I can spare your life. But if you continue to persist, I will no longer show mercy and kill you, Astro Emperor said in a deep voice as he looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in blood, with his hands behind his back. Huff, I won't give up. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and forced himself to stand up. His eyes were filled with fearlessness as he spoke in a firm tone. After speaking, the Sword Tao intent, Life and Death Tao intent, Heaven and Earth Tao intent, and 5 Tao intents gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's severely injured body and formed a great Tao trajectory above his head. Yes, great Tao trajectory. The Astro Monarch looked at the slowly moving great Tao trajectory above Yi Qinfeng's head, which looked like a galaxy. He revealed a trace of shock and said, I really did not expect that you could actually merge the 4 great Tao intents and form a great Tao trajectory under such adversity. Truly not simple. On the verge of death, Yi Qinfeng's potential was completely stimulated. Not only did he merge the profound, great Tao trajectory, but his soul and sword soul also merged faster. Once he could control the power of the sword soul, he could use the attack power of the sword soul to injure Astro Emperor. Let me have a taste of the power of your great Tao trajectory. After speaking, a large number of star Tao inscriptions merged into the longsword, increasing the terrifying sword power. 9 swords of starlight. Astro Emperor roared and turned into 9 fast afterimages again. He slashed out 9 swords at the same time. They emitted dazzling starlight, sealed the space, and slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. Feeling the terrifying power of the 9 swords of starlight, Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath. He controlled the great Tao trajectory formed by the 4 Tao intents to meet the attack. Rumble! The 9 swords of starlight clashed with the great Tao trajectory and burst out with endless radiance. The power of Tao intents swept out like waves. In the storm of this energy explosion, Yi Qinfeng's injuries worsened again. His body was covered with wounds, and a large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth uncontrollably. However, Yi Qinfeng didn't retreat or shrink back. He relied on his unyielding belief to bear the impact of the destructive power and continued to attack Astro Emperor. Great Tao trajectory, blazing sun. Several Tao intents gushed out of his body again. This time, Yi Qinfeng took the risk and merged the Heaven Tao inscriptions into the Great Tao trajectory. After merging with the Heaven Tao, the Great Tao trajectory immediately shook, putting Yi Qinfeng's soul under great pressure. However, he was hovering between life and death. He couldn't care less about the pressure on his soul. He controlled the Great Tao trajectory to turn into a blazing sun and attacked Astro Emperor. 10-star Tao break. Feeling the terror of the Great Tao blazing sun, Astro Emperor's expression changed slightly. He controlled the 10th star Tao intent to merge into the long sword and slashed forward with irresistible force. The terrifying star sword forcefully resisted the Great Tao blazing sun and cracked it continuously. True dragon transformation. Seeing that the Great Tao blazing sun was destroyed by Astro Emperor, Yi Qinfeng, who had no way to retreat, roared and ignited his dragon heart and blood. With the help of the powerful blood and blood, he turned into a terrifying, true dragon again. He swayed his body, tore apart the space, and crashed heavily towards Astro Emperor, whose expression changed slightly. 10-star Tao starlight sky wall. Astro Emperor's hands moved quickly. 100-star Tao inscriptions appeared on his body and gathered into an impregnable sky wall. It took the fatal blow of the true dragon transformation head-on. Boom! Boom! The blazing sun of the Great Path was detonated by Yi Qinfeng. The true dragon that Yi Qinfeng had transformed into also crashed into the starlight sky wall. The powerful attack caused cracks to appear on the starlight sky wall. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng suddenly opened his mouth. An extremely thin sword light shot out of his mouth and tore a deep sword mark in the fragile space. It pierced towards Astro Emperor's chest at the speed of light. Puff! Astro Emperor's powerful defense was pierced by this thin sword light. His powerful body was also pierced. He couldn't help but step back. Sword Soul. You actually cultivate the Sword Soul Tao. Astro Emperor covered his chest that was pierced by the Sword Soul Tao. His eyes widened in disbelief. Senior, you're already injured. I passed this test, right? Yi Qinfeng, who had consumed a lot of blood, looked at Astro Emperor with a pale face and almost lost the ability to fight. Asked while panting heavily, You didn't let me down. You passed. Astro Emperor, who came back to his senses, smiled as if a heavy burden had been lifted off his shoulders. In this test that was almost impossible to pass, Yi Qinfeng turned the situation around with the help of the Sword Soul Tao. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 832. After about a day, Yi Qinfeng had basically healed his injuries with the help of the powerful life Tao Will. He spat out a mouthful of turbid air and woke up. Junior, you're awake. To be honest, I didn't expect you to be so outstanding. You have mastered so many heaven-defying techniques and majored in Sword Soul Tao. Star Emperor looked at Yi Qinfeng with gratification and did not hide his admiration. Senior, you flatter me. I was just lucky and got some opportunities. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said in a neither arrogant nor humble manner, You don't have to be modest. Great opportunities are not obtained with luck. You have all the qualities to become a top expert. I have faith in you. Well, you've passed my test. You can ask me any questions you have. I'll tell you everything I know. Star Emperor put his hands behind his back as he looked at Yi Qinfeng with appreciation in his eyes. Senior, why did you leave your doppelganger in Xingluo's ninefold space? Yi Qinfeng asked straightforwardly. When I was pregnant with a life and death tribulation, in order to prevent my inheritance from being lost, I used a great divine ability to forcibly break the Xingluo's ninefold space. I crushed the test-takers in the ninefold space and refined this world. I left my strongest doppelganger behind and waited for the fated one to appear. Now you've passed my test and are qualified to inherit my inheritance. Star Emperor said without hiding anything. Senior, it said that you had reached the Nirvana heavenly realm and were invincible in the world. With your strength at that time, who in the entire Duhan continent could threaten your life? Yi Qinfeng asked doubtfully. I didn't die in the hands of the experts in the Duhan continent. When I was tearing open the celestial realm's gate, I was severely injured and destroyed by a powerful expert of the celestial clan. In the end, I failed to ascend and died in Xingluo continent. Star Emperor sighed softly and explained slowly. Senior, why did the powerful expert of the celestial clan attack you? Yi Qinfeng raised his eyebrows. He felt that Star Emperor's death might be related to a big secret. The reason why the celestial race tried to kill me was because I controlled the Saint Treasure, the Saint Star Moon Orb. When I failed to ascend, the Saint Star Moon Orb was also taken away by them. Star Emperor continued. Senior, although Saint Treasures are the best in the fighting spirit continent, there should be many treasures in the Qingyin domain that surpass Saint Treasures, right? Yi Qinfeng had the God-Eater brain, so he knew that holy treasures were not very valuable in the heaven region. That's right. The Star Moon Sacred Pearl is not a precious treasure in the Qingyin region, but I got it in the periphery of the central continent's Beyond Sky. The Beyond Sky seems to be related to the inheritance of a powerful figure in the Qingyin region. The powerful figure of the Sky Clan took the Star Moon Sacred Pearl because he wanted to deduce the mystery of that powerful figure who died. The Star Emperor didn't hide anything. As expected, this Star Moon Saint Orb is related to other secrets. After confirming the guess in his heart, Yi Qinfeng developed some interest in this sky beyond heaven. Junior, if you can break through to the level 6 combat Beast Emperor realm in the future, you can go to Beyond Avalon in the central continent to try your luck. Maybe you will have a chance to enter Beyond Avalon. However, when you reach the central continent, you must be careful of the people from the 3 divine kingdoms. Don't trust them so easily. Star Emperor looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was deep in thought, and warned him seriously. Why? Yi Qinfeng was puzzled. Because the 3 divine kingdoms are not of the human race. The blood flowing in their bodies is the blood of other races. Star Emperor told Yi Qinfeng another big secret. Senior, I know that the Octave Divine Kingdom is inherited from the demon race, and the Kirin Kingdom is inherited from the demon race. Then which race did the Jiutian Divine Kingdom inherit from? Yi Qinfeng asked in surprise. He didn't expect that the three most powerful divine kingdoms in the fighting spirit continent were not of the human race. The Jiu Tian divine kingdom inherited from the celestial race. Star Emperor said slowly, "My death is also related to the Jiu Tian divine kingdom. The celestial race of the Qingyuan realm targeted me because they told on me. The celestial race, the demon race, and the demon race. I didn't expect the fighting spirit continent to be controlled by other races." Yi Qinfeng said with a sigh. The fighting spirit continent hides many shocking secrets. This is also the reason why the three races spent countless years to destroy the human race's inheritance and establish the three great forces on the fighting spirit continent. Senior, if the races of the Qingyan realm know that the fighting spirit continent hides many shocking secrets, why don't they send someone to the lower realm to take Rome? Yi Qinfeng continued to ask. I heard that it is not easy for someone from the Qingyan realm to descend to the lower realm. The stronger they are, the harder it is to descend to the lower realm. There are many dangers in the lower realm. If they are not careful, they may be annihilated. Moreover, the fighting spirit continent has a guardian. Ordinary people from the Qingyan realm might be suppressed or killed by him when they descend to the lower realm. Therefore, the three races spent countless years to establish their inheritance on the fighting spirit continent. Star Emperor explained. I didn't know that the fighting spirit continent hides so many secrets. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and said, I feel that the fighting spirit continent is not simple. The fighting spirit continent that I know is only the tip of the iceberg. By the way, Senior, since the fighting spirit continent has a guardian, why didn't he destroy the three races' inheritance and establish the human race's inheritance? Yi Qinfeng asked. I don't know. I have never seen the guardian of the fighting spirit continent. I don't know what he is thinking, and I don't know if he is a master of the human race. All right, Junior, don't think too much about the secrets of the soul-fighting continent. What you need to do now is to increase your strength as soon as possible. Only when you are strong enough can you learn about those secrets. Otherwise, it will only hasten your death, Star Emperor said. Yes, I understand. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, Junior, now that you have passed my test, you are qualified to inherit my inheritance. This star token is for you. After you refine this star token, you can use it to summon the 6 keys to open the imperial tombs. Then you can inherit the inheritance of my original body and the treasures that I have collected. Star Emperor opened his mouth and spat out a hexagonal star token, giving it to Yi Qinfeng. Thank you, Senior. Looking at the hexagonal star token that the Star Emperor had given him, Yi Qinfeng was pleasantly surprised. With this star token, he would be able to destroy the true demon clan and Star, all Heaven City's conspiracy, and obtain the Star Emperor's inheritance. Star Emperor was the most powerful person in the Xingluo continent for hundreds of years. His inheritance would definitely make a 9th-grade divine kingdom jealous. The treasures in it would be unimaginable. By the way, Senior, can you leave the Xingluo sky wall? Thinking of how powerful Star Emperor's doppelganger was, he knew that it would be of great help to him if he could leave. No, I have already merged with the 9 layers of the Xingluo sky wall. There is no distinction between us. If I leave the sky wall, I will turn into ashes instantly and cease to exist. Star Emperor shook his head and said, All right, Junior, you have to walk your own path in the future. Go to the 90 sky wall and leave your name there. After that, I will send you away. Don't repeat my mistakes in the future, and you can ascend to the immortal realm. Star Emperor took a deep breath and said, Don't worry, Senior. I will avenge you. When I ascend to the immortal realm one day, I will help you kill your enemies and take back the Star Moon Pearl. Yi Qinfeng promised. Good. I was right about you. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's promise, Star Emperor showed a gratified smile. After he finished speaking, Yi Qinfeng slowly walked to the highest point of the starry sky wall. A sharp sword Dao pattern shot out from the tip of his finger as he pressed it against the incomparably hard wall. Then, with a fluid motion, he carved out the 2 words Sword God. Remember the URL. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 833. Heavens, a new name really appeared on the 90 Zhang celestial wall. That person really passed all the tests. Since when did our Xingluo continent have such a shocking talent? Which power does he come from? Sword God. Using a god as a title. That person is actually so arrogant, wanting to surpass the Star Emperor. Seeing Yi Chenfeng carving the title on the 90 Zhang celestial wall, the people below the Xingluo celestial wall were in an uproar. Many pairs of eyes were looking at the Xingluo celestial wall in unison, wanting to see Yi Chenfeng's elegant demeanor. Many people were also dissatisfied with the title he carved. Unrelated people, leave immediately. You are not allowed to stay here. Receiving the order from the frosty Sha Bingyun, several experts from the Xingluo celestial wall appeared in midair and gave the order. Why? Why are we leaving now? I want to see the majesty of the Sword God. Many experts protested loudly. I will count to 10. If you don't leave, leave your life behind. An old man wearing a black martial arts suit. His white hair fluttered in the wind. His face was full of wrinkles, but he was full of energy. His eyes were filled with ominous glints as he threatened. Feeling the boundless killing intent emitted by the experts from the Xingluo celestial wall and looking at the restriction runes floating in midair, many people became timid and left the Xingluo celestial wall with regret, returning to the Xingluo celestial wall. In less than 5 breaths of time, under the death threat of the experts from the Xingluo celestial wall, almost all the onlookers below the Xingluo celestial wall had left. Only Lingyu and 3 other experts who were confident in their strength and wanted to befriend Yi Chenfeng remained. What? You want to harm Brother Chenfeng? Lingyu, who had already recovered from her injuries, stood up from the ground and looked at the white-haired old man and the others coldly. Little girl, I advise you to behave and not challenge the might of the Xingluo celestial wall. Otherwise, you will regret it. The white-haired old man, who was a level 3 combat beast emperor, glared at Lingyu and warned. So what if it is a challenge? If you provoke me, I'll turn your Xingluo heaven city upside down. The fearless spirit fish exuded a domineering aura as it spoke without backing down. You are courting death. The white-haired old man didn't expect the spirit fish to be so arrogant. A ruthless light flashed in his eyes as 2 Dao intents erupted. He slapped his palm across the air, causing the air to fluctuate violently as the palm imprinted towards the spirit fish. Break! The spirit fish did not retreat when the palm light of the will of the way of the white-haired old man struck out. Instead of retreating, the spirit fish moved forward with the 8 divine ape shadows. Its fist, which contained a force of tens of millions of jin, shattered the palm that contained the will of the way. It quickly closed in on the white-haired old man, whose expression had changed slightly. As the spirit fish approached, the experts of Xingluo Heaven City, standing beside the white-haired old man, immediately launched an attack at the spirit fish, wanting to injure her severely and capture her alive. However, the spirit fish's speed was too fast. In the blink of an eye, her speed increased by 3 times. She dodged everyone's attacks and appeared in front of the white-robed elder. She threw 3 punches at him, wanting to penetrate his chest. Heaven extinguishing palm. As the spirit fish attacked with all her might, the white-haired old man immediately struck out an overwhelming palm light that overlapped with each other, shaking off the 3 fist lights that the spirit fish blasted out. When the 2 powerful attacks collided, the spirit fish stepped on the 8 divine ape shadows and drew a strange afterimage in midair, appearing diagonally below the white-haired old man. In the next moment, the spirit fish grabbed onto the white-haired old man's ankle and exploded with a force that was beyond what his body could withstand. Her petite body made a beautiful circle in midair, throwing the white-haired old man, who had completely lost control of his body, onto the hard ground. Kacha! The white-haired old man's head smashed into the ground, causing a large area of the ground to crack. Streams of blood flowed out from his forehead. What are you all waiting for? Capture this little girl for me. After witnessing the spirit fish severely injuring the white-haired old man, Sha Bingyun's face darkened. She was furious and ordered loudly. Subsequently, close to 10 experts of Xingluo Heaven City besieged the spirit fish, using all their skills to capture her alive. Bloodline of the Golden Eye Divine Ape Ignite! Despite being besieged, the spirit fish's petite face did not have a trace of panic. Without hesitation, she ignited the power of her bloodline and transformed into a terrifying divine ape. She then fought fiercely with the besieging experts of Xingluo Heaven City. Divine beast? This little girl has the bloodline of a divine beast flowing in her body. Seeing the spirit fish transform into the golden eye divine ape, the cold Sha Bingyun was moved for the first time. Just as she continued to mobilize the experts to besiege the spirit fish, a blinding white light suddenly shot out from the Xingluo Heaven Wall. Yi Qinfeng, who had passed all the tests and left his name at the Heaven Wall, had appeared, courting death. Seeing the spirit fish being besieged, Yi Qinfeng's face instantly darkened. Dense killing intent erupted from his body as he was about to kill the enemy. Activate the restrictions. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's extremely ordinary face, Sha Bingyun frowned slightly. She could vaguely feel that he had changed his appearance. Immediately, she activated the restrictions and restricted the entire space. Stop! All of you, come back! Sha Bingyun shouted, stopping the experts who were besieging the spirit fish and calling them to her side. What is the meaning of this? I don't think I have offended you. Yi Qinfeng asked coldly as he looked at Sha Bingyun with a sharp gaze. He vaguely guessed her identity. Sir, please don't be angry. We didn't have any bad intentions just now. Sha Bingyun, who exuded a unique charm, was like a cold and arrogant wintersweet. She looked calmly at Yi Qinfeng and said slowly, "Humph, no bad intentions." Yi Qinfeng snorted and said, "If you don't have any bad intentions, why did you restrict the space?" "I just want to make a deal with you," Sha Bingyun said emotionlessly. "Not interested," Yi Qinfeng coldly refused. "Before I become angry, I advise you all to disperse the restrictions. Otherwise, don't blame me for starting a massacre." In the outside world, Yi Qinfeng was not restrained by the Xingluo sky wall and could use his trump cards at will. Moreover, with the primal chaos divine wood and the 9 dragon jade annulus, he was confident that he could sweep through Sha Bingyun's group. "I advise you to listen to my deal. Maybe you will be interested." Sha Bingyun was unmoved and slowly said, "You all want the secret I learned from the 9 layers of skywall in Xingluo, right?" Yi Qinfeng was too lazy to waste time with Sha Bingyun's group and directly asked, "Yes, I am indeed very interested in the secret you learned. I wonder if you are willing to share it with me? If you are willing, I can consider giving you some benefits." Sha Bingyun, who was as cold as ice, nodded. She looked at Yi Qinfeng coldly and spoke with the tone of a superior. "Very well, if you are willing to stay with me for a few nights and serve me, maybe I will be happy and share the secret with you." Yi Qinfeng hated Sha Bingyun's haughty tone. When he saw her cold and beautiful face, her voluptuous figure, and her alluring figure, he revealed a mocking smile and purposely mocked her. "You are courting death." As the city lord of Xingluo Sky City and the woman with the greatest authority in the entire Xingluo continent, Sha Bingyun had never been humiliated like this before. Her expression became very dark as a powerful murderous intent erupted from her chest like a volcano. "Angry already?" Yi Qinfeng smiled and playfully said, "The truth is, I feel that you should feel honored. After all, you are not a supreme beauty. You should be happy to receive my favor. I swear that I will make you regret being born in this world." After saying that, the furious Sha Bingyin took out a pair of low-grade Dao artifact rushing thunder dual swords. With a flash in the air, it was like a bolt of lightning as it attacked Yi Qinfeng. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 834, Soul Suppressing Tablet. Sha Bingyin attacked with her thunder dual swords. Yi Qinfeng activated the energy in his 5 meridians and unleashed a force of over 20 million jin. He blasted out the soul-suppressing tablet with his huge hand. The terrifying power shattered Sha Bingyin's attack and knocked back the incomparably sharp, low-grade Dao artifact rushing thunder dual swords. What a powerful attack! Feeling the rebounding force from the thunder dual swords, Sha Bingyin frowned and revealed a shocked expression. She was shocked by the toughness and strength of Yi Qinfeng's fist. Tai sword art. While Sha Bingyin was still in shock, Yi Qinfeng stepped on the void and spun around. 50 sword-based Dao patterns shot out and formed a boundless sword rain, attacking Sha Bingyin. Seeing Sha Bingyin being swept by the extremely sharp Tai sword technique, a vast and boundless energy spread out from Sha Bingyin's body. It was like a heavenly screen, blocking Yi Qinfeng's Tai sword rain. Break! Sha Bingyin spat out a single word. The boundless energy instantly shattered the 50 sword-based Dao patterns and rushed towards Yi Qinfeng like a surging tide. What kind of energy is this? Feeling the destructive energy from Sha Bingyin's body, Yi Qinfeng's expression changed slightly. He quickly crossed his arms in front of him and defended with all his might. But at this moment, the spiritual fish appeared beside him and unleashed its full force of 60 million jin. It punched toward Sha Bingyin. The terrifying energy from its body shattered the attack. Your strength is not bad, but no matter how powerful you are, you will not be able to escape death today. Sha Bingyin's eyes flashed with ferocity. She continued to merge with the powerful energy that appeared out of nowhere, increasing her strength little by little. In the blink of an eye, Sha Bingyin's strength reached the peak of Class 5 Combat Beast Emperor. She posed a great threat to Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish. In the next moment, a black figure split out from Sha Bingyin's body. It carried boundless killing intent and launched a destructive attack towards Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish. Could this be one of Xingluo's heavenly city Dao treasures, Xingluo's doppelganger? When Yi Qinfeng faced the black figure's attack head-on, he discovered that even a casual attack from the black figure had the might of a Dao treasure. He immediately guessed that this black figure should be one of the treasures of Starry Sky City, the star Luo doppelganger. And the mysterious power that Sha Bingyin had fused with was most likely the power of Xingluo Sky City itself. By borrowing the power of Xingluo Sky City, Sha Bingyin could increase her cultivation by a whole realm. Sword puppet, Space Swallower, come out. Although Yi Qinfeng had the ability to kill Sha Bingyin and severely injure Xingluo's doppelganger, he knew that now was not the time to reveal his trump cards. He summoned the sword puppet and the space swallower and ordered the sword puppet to protect the space swallower and leave. What are you all standing there for? Kill that man and that beast. Seeing the sudden appearance of the sword puppet and the space swallower, Sha Bingyin ordered loudly. Upon receiving Sha Bingyin's order, a large number of Xingluo Sky City elites immediately attacked. They released earth-shattering attacks in an attempt to destroy the sword puppet and kill the space swallower. Although the attacks launched by dozens of Xingluo Sky City elites were terrifying, they could not shake the indestructible body of the sword puppet. The sword puppet protected the space swallower with all its might as it endured the attacks of the Xingluo Sky City elites. Under the devouring of the space swallower, a gap appeared in the space swallower. Seeing this, Sha Bingyun, who was attacking Yi Qinfeng with all her might, narrowed her eyes and looked even more gloomy. Black demonic scissors. Yi Qinfeng did not use his Dao intent recklessly. He summoned the pseudo-Dao treasure, black demonic scissors, and controlled it to cut at Sha Bingyun. Yongya, the black demonic scissors, tore through the space swallower. Sha Bingyun's two swords danced, and two pitch-black sword lights slashed down at the black demonic scissors. The moment the Yongya sword light slashed out, the space turned dark as all the light was swallowed by the Yongya sword light. Bang! Bang! The tough black demonic scissors were sent flying by Sha Bingyun's Yongya sword light. Then Sha Bingyun, who had fused with the power of Xingluo Sky City, launched a series of attacks at Yi Qinfeng. Thunderbolt flash. Dense sword shadows attacked, and Yi Qinfeng used the thunderbolt flash to dodge at full speed. While dodging, he continuously sent out terrifying palm radiance to shake Sha Bingyun. Master, the space swallower is open. Let's go. Just as Yi Qinfeng was tangling with Sha Bingyun with his speed, the space swallower bit through the space swallower and sent a message to Yi Qinfeng. Let's go. With the space swallower broken, Yi Qinfeng didn't want to continue fighting. With a thought, he kept the spiritual fish that was fighting with Xingluo's clone into the universe mirror. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng used the thunderbolt flash to cut across the sky like a winding lightning bolt and flew towards the gap in the space swallower's space swallower. Where are you going? Seeing the spiritual fish disappear into thin air, Sha Bingyun's brows twitched. She quickly summoned back Xingluo's clone and chased after Yi Qinfeng at full speed. Die for me! Relying on her speed to get close to Yi Qinfeng, Sha Bingyun poured a large amount of soul power and Xingluo's Sky City's power into Xingluo's clone. She stimulated the power of Xingluo's clone and threw it out with all her might. With enough energy, the power of Xingluo's clone was limitless. It was like a killing machine in human form as it charged towards Yi Qinfeng. Seeing Yi Qinfeng being bombarded by Xingluo's clone, the sword puppet suddenly blocked Yi Qinfeng's back. It used its body to block the attack of Xingluo's clone. What a tough body! Seeing that the sword puppet was unharmed after being attacked by Xingluo's clone, Sha Bingyun was even more shocked. She didn't expect the sword puppet's body to be stronger than Xingluo's clone. Let's go! Yi Qinfeng kept the space swallower and the sword puppet into the universe mirror and flew out of the space swallower's space swallower. Where do you think you're going? Seeing that Yi Qinfeng had easily broken through her trap, Sha Bingyun's eyes shone with a terrifying light. She chased after him closely. She would never allow Yi Qinfeng to escape with the secret of Xingluo's sky wall. Yi Qinfeng stepped on the thunder flash and drew streaks of lightning in the air. He kept dodging Sha Bingyun's continuous attacks as he flew above a vast mountain range that looked like a giant dragon. Thorn Prison! Relying on her shocking speed to break through Yi Qinfeng's fist radiance, Sha Bingyun's Dao gushed out from her body and formed a prison, trapping Yi Qinfeng inside. Go to hell! After successfully trapping Yi Qinfeng, Sha Bingyun stabbed in with her two swords. She wanted to pierce through Yi Qinfeng's body. You are still far from being able to kill me. The God Devourer Brain's power erupted and locked onto Sha Bingyun's attack trajectory. Yi Qinfeng's body flashed slightly as he tore through the thorns that wrapped around his body. He brushed past the extremely sharp lightning swords and dodged behind Sha Bingyun. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng raised his right hand and ruthlessly slapped at Sha Bingyun's perky and round buttocks. Slap! A crisp slap echoed as Yi Qinfeng's powerful slap shattered Sha Bingyun's physical defenses. It tore her clothes and left a bright red palm print on her perky buttocks. Ah! Under the immense pain, Sha Bingyun let out a shameful cry. The tingling sensation on her buttocks drove her crazy and infuriated her. It made her want to tear Yi Chen-feng into pieces. Go to hell. The humiliated Xia Bingyun went crazy. She attacked Yi Chen-feng with all her might. Wave after wave of attacks, each stronger than the last, sent Yi Chen-feng crashing into the mountain range. However, when Yi Chen-feng fell into the dragon-like mountain range, he suddenly disappeared. Where is he? Why did he disappear? Sensing that Yi Chen-feng's aura had disappeared, the enraged Xia Bingyun immediately released her powerful soul power to cover a few dozen miles. However, she realized that Yi Chen-feng had really disappeared. Where did he go? Could it be that he has a spatial treasure? Recalling the scene where the spiritual fish disappeared in front of her eyes, Xia Bingyun, who was bathed in blue light, immediately summoned the experts from Xingluo Heaven City to search every inch of Yi Chen-feng. However, the existence of the universe realm was too heaven-defying. No matter how the experts from Xingluo Heaven City turned the mountain range upside down, they still couldn't find Yi Chen-feng. On the other hand, the story of Yi Chen-feng leaving his name on the 90-foot celestial wall and escaping from the experts from Xingluo Heaven City spread like a gust of wind and spread throughout the entire Xingluo Heaven City. Even the old city lord of Xingluo Heaven City, Shatianya, who rarely showed himself, was alerted. He searched for Yi Chen-feng, but to no avail. Very quickly, half a year had passed. The chaotic Xingluo Heaven City gradually regained its peace. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 835. The Myriad Bamboo Garden was a famous restaurant in the eastern part of Xingluo Heaven City. It was located in the depths of a verdant bamboo forest. Because the Myriad Bamboo Garden produced a type of green bamboo leaf wine that was loved by the experts of Xingluo Heaven City, the Myriad Bamboo Garden was very popular. Every day, there would be an endless stream of people coming here to drink. Big Brother Feng Chen, I've finally found you. A tall and slender woman with snow-white skin wearing a tight, white dress appeared in the bamboo garden. Her figure was curvaceous, her butt was perky, and her crotch was plump. Every frown and smile of hers was filled with a myriad of emotions. Under the burning gazes of many pairs of eyes, she walked to an ancient wooden table near the window and looked at a man who was drinking alone and softly said, This man was none other than Yi Chen-feng, who had disguised himself and snuck into Xingluo Heaven City. What's the matter? Looking at Xing Manyu's beautiful face, Yi Chen-feng put down the wine cup in his hand and asked slowly, My Falling Star Pavilion's Vice Pavilion Master wants to see Big Brother Feng Chen to thank you for saving my life. Do you have time? Xing Manyu sat in front of Yi Chen-feng and gently poured him a cup of green bamboo leaf wine that emitted a delicate fragrance. Okay, after I finish this bottle of green bamboo leaf wine, I'll go with you to the Falling Star Pavilion. Yi Chen-feng was still unfamiliar with Xingluo Heaven City, and he wanted to know more about Xingluo Heaven City through the Falling Star Pavilion. Thank you, Big Brother Feng Chen. Xing Manyu revealed a charming smile that was like a blooming flower. She rested her chin on one hand and waited quietly. Give me 10 more jars of green bamboo leaf wine. After drinking the green bamboo leaf wine that he liked, Yi Chen-feng ordered 10 more jars and kept them in his yin and yang ring. After paying for the wine, he left with Xing Manyu. Looking at Yi Chen-feng's ordinary face, Xing Manyu asked expectantly, Big Brother Feng Chen, you should be one of the first people to ascend the heavens path, right? Did you see the genius who left his name on the 30 zhang wall? What did he look like? No, when I ascended the heavens path, I didn't see anyone special under the Xingluo Heaven City. Yi Chen-feng shook his head and said lightly, I really want to see what kind of genius could pass all the tests in Xingluo Heaven City and have the same talent as Senior Star Emperor. Xing Manyu said with admiration. You will see him. Yi Qinfeng smiled and looked at Xing Manyu's beautiful face. Really? Xing Manyu's eyes. Really, I promise. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said without hesitation. As they chatted, Yi Qinfeng followed Xing Manyu to the eastern part of the city. There was an ancient-looking building with 2 stone qilins standing at the entrance. It was shrouded in restrictions outside the courtyard. Big Brother Feng Qin, this is the Falling Star Pavilion's branch in Xingluo Heaven City. Xing Manyu pointed at the ancient courtyard and said in a good mood, What a powerful restriction! Looking at the restriction that enveloped the Falling Star Pavilion, Yi Qinfeng showed a trace of admiration. Such a powerful restriction was definitely made by a master. Our Vice Pavilion Master spent a huge price and countless precious materials to set up this restriction. Even ordinary Emperor-level experts wouldn't be able to break it. Xing Manyu explained without hiding anything and led Yi Qinfeng into the heavily guarded branch of the Falling Star Pavilion. Following the winding corridors, Yi Qinfeng walked into a secluded and beautiful courtyard. As they talked, they walked. Very soon, the 2 of them arrived outside a grand and magnificent hall. Vice Pavilion Master, I've invited Big Brother Feng Qin here. Walking into the hall, where there were many weapons hanging on the walls, Xing Manyu bowed slightly and greeted a beautiful young woman with fair skin and a charming charm. She was wearing a purple robe with phoenix patterns. Vice Pavilion Master, hello. Yi Qinfeng didn't expect that the person in charge of the Falling Star Pavilion in Xingluo Heaven City would be a woman. He was surprised. Feng Qin, thank you for saving Yuan Feng and the other 2. Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was tall and straight but had an ordinary face, the Vice Pavilion Master of the Falling Star Pavilion, Xing Keru, said softly with a charming smile. Although Yi Qinfeng's aura wasn't strong, Xing Keru felt an inexplicable sense of danger when she looked at him. It made her feel as though she was staring at a ferocious beast. It's just a small matter. Vice Pavilion Master, you don't have to take it to heart, Yi Qinfeng said with a smile. He was neither arrogant nor humble. No, this is a great favor. We have to repay it. Xing Keru shook her head lightly and said, Feng Qin, I don't know what you want. As long as we have it, will definitely satisfy you. Vice Pavilion Master, I've just arrived at Xingluo Heaven City and am unfamiliar with this place. If you have time, can you tell me more about Xingluo Heaven City? Yi Qinfeng said. It's that simple? Xing Keru asked in surprise. This is very important to me, Yi Qinfeng said with a nod. All right, then I'll tell you more about Xingluo Heaven City. Sit. Xing Keru gestured for Yi Qinfeng to sit down and asked someone to pour a cup of green tea for him. She said, the most attractive thing in Xingluo Heaven City is undoubtedly the Triple Lightning Territory. There are many cultivation resources in the Lightning Territory that make the outside world jealous, such as the Thunder Pavilion, Wind Pavilion, and so on. The Triple Lightning Territory is divided into the North, South, East, and West Territories. Each Lightning Territory has a Territory Master, and the 4 Lightning Territories are not connected to each other. Above the Triple Lightning Territory is the Illusory Star Territory, the Path of Lightning Tribulation. Thunder, Tao, Heavenly Pavilion, and 9 levels of the Heaven Staircase are all in the Star Territory. Almost all the top geniuses in Xingluo Heaven City want to enter the Star Territory to cultivate. Vice Pavilion Master, what are the conditions to enter the Star Territory? Yi Qinfeng took the risk to come to Xingluo Heaven City to train because of the Path of Lightning Tribulation and 9 levels of the Heaven Staircase. Points. As long as you have enough points, you can enter the Star Territory. Xing Keru said, however, it is not easy to earn points in Xingluo Heaven City. Every time you enter a Lightning Territory, you need to spend points. It can be said that in Xingluo Heaven City, points are more useful than top-grade soul crystals. With points, you can exchange them for any treasure you want. Vice Pavilion Master, how many points do I need to enter the triple lightning territory? Yi Qinfeng asked. Entering the first lightning territory requires 100,000 points. Entering the second lightning territory requires 1,000,000 points. Entering the third lightning territory requires 10 million points. Entering the star territory requires 50 million points. Xing Karu slowly said. Vice Pavilion Master, what are the methods to earn points? Yi Qinfeng continued asking. Martial arena, gambling, accepting missions, selling soul crystals, treasures, etc. You can earn points. However, Xingluo Heaven City intentionally raised the value of points, causing soul crystals and treasures to depreciate greatly. In the outside world, extremely precious heavenly treasures and top-grade heavenly artifacts can only be exchanged for 500,000 points, Shinkaru said. The exchange value of points is so high. Yi Qinfeng frowned and muttered to himself. It seems that it is impossible to enter the star territory in a short time. Vice Pavilion Master, I have 5 top-grade heavenly artifacts, 1 pseudo-Dao artifact, and 3 top-grade heavenly pills. I wonder if Vice Pavilion Master can help me sell them and exchange them for points. After the matter is done, I will give Vice Pavilion Master a 5% commission. Yi Qinfeng was too unfamiliar with Xingluo Heaven City. He wanted to use the channels that the Falling Star Pavilion had built over countless years to sell the treasures and exchange them for points. Feng Qin, are you really going to sell these treasures? When Shinkaru and the others saw the treasures that Yi Qinfeng took out, their eyes widened as they asked in shock. This was especially true for the pseudo-Dao tool. She was even more fond of it. Yes. May I know how many points these treasures can be exchanged for? Yi Qinfeng nodded and asked. Generally, a top-grade heaven artifact can be exchanged for 500,000 points. A top-grade heaven pill is slightly less valuable, and one can be exchanged for about 200,000 points. As for a pseudo-Dao artifact, its value is extremely high, and it can be exchanged for 3 million points. All of your treasures can be exchanged for about 6 million points. How about this? I will give you 6,500,000 points. How about you sell these treasures to the Falling Star Pavilion? The more Shinkaru looked at the treasures that Yi Qinfeng was going to sell, the more she liked them. She was deeply attracted to them. She gritted her teeth and prepared to buy them herself to strengthen the Falling Star Pavilion. Okay, deal. Yi Qinfeng agreed without even thinking. Then he exchanged for 6,500,000 points from Shinkaru. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 836. The night grew darker and darker. Stars filled the night sky. The bright starlight and the bright moonlight reflected off each other, covering Xingluo Sky City in a layer of silver, sacred and noble. In the dead of the night, Yi Qinfeng tactfully declined the invitation to join the Falling Star Pavilion. After bidding farewell to Xing Manyu and the others, he headed directly to the First Thunder Dominion in the core area of the East City. After paying 100,000 points, Yi Qinfeng entered the First Thunder Dominion. He discovered that this place was the same as the outside world. It had day and night, moon and stars, just like a mystical small world. It's so late. Why is this treasure house still so lively? The reason Yi Qinfeng came to the First Thunder Dominion at night was because he wanted to take advantage of the night when there were fewer people around to take a look at the First Thunder Dominion's treasure house and exchange for some useful items. But when he arrived at the treasure house, he discovered that it was still very noisy. Many strong martial artists were holding an exquisite picture book, flipping through it as they selected suitable treasures for themselves. Yi Qinfeng swept his eyes over the luxurious treasure house, then walked to a secluded area and picked up an exquisite picture book. Spiritual Strength Fruit, 8th Grade Heavenly Beast Monster Core. After flipping through the booklet, Yi Qinfeng discovered 2 spiritual objects that he was interested in: the Energy Spiritual Fruit and the 8th Stage Heavenly Beast's Demonic Core were the main ingredients for refining the True Spirit Body Tempering Pill. As for the True Spirit Body Quenching Pill, Yi Qinfeng had obtained another pill recipe from the God Eater Brain's soul fragment. Although the quality was far inferior to the Extreme Emperor Dao pill, if Yi Qinfeng could refine it with the help of the True Spirit Body Quenching Pill's medicinal efficacy, he could completely refine the spirit bead in his Yong Quan acupoint into a true spirit bead, greatly increasing his physical strength. How many points do this Spiritual Strength Fruit and the 8th Grade Heavenly Beast Monster Core cost? Yi Qinfeng walked in front of a woman wearing a green lotus root cheongsam. She had a sweet smile on her face as she pointed at the Spiritual Strength Fruit and the 8th Grade Heavenly Beast Monster Core. This Spiritual Strength Fruit costs 500,000 points, and the 8th Grade Heavenly Beast Monster Core costs 1,000,000 points. The cheongsam woman smiled at Yi Qinfeng, very skillfully reporting the prices. All right, I'll change. Although the exchange price of the Energy Spirit Fruit and Grade 8 Heavenly Beast's Beast Core was beyond Yi Qinfeng's imagination, in order to refine the True Spirit Body Quenching Pills, he still decided to exchange for them, paying 5,000,000 points. Yi Qinfeng's extravagance also attracted the attention of many people. The way the 2 men in black looked at him changed greatly. After exchanging for the treasures, Yi Qinfeng didn't stay in the treasure pavilion for long. He turned around and left. Treading through the night, he found a quaint inn and spent 1,000 points to rent a quiet room to rest. Dong dong dong. Yi Qinfeng had just cleared his mind of distracting thoughts and swallowed a heaven-rank soul pill to cultivate when a light knock on the door entered Yi Qinfeng's ears, waking him up from his cultivation. When the frowning Yi Qinfeng opened the door, he saw a woman in a tight black dress with light makeup standing outside the door. Her body exuded a strong fragrance. Because her black dress had a low neckline, her magnificent peaks were visually impactful, and her white cleavage was like a deadly poison, exuding endless attraction. You found the wrong person? Although the woman in black dress was extremely alluring, Yi Qinfeng's heart didn't stir a single ripple as he coldly spoke. Young master, the night is long. Aren't you going to invite me in? Perhaps there will be a surprise. The woman in black dress lips curled up slightly, revealing a charming arc as she spoke coquettishly. After saying this, she didn't wait for Yi Qinfeng to speak and directly walked into the room. Arriving at the bedside, she charmingly glanced at Yi Qinfeng. Suddenly, she reached behind her back and undid the sash of her dress. In the next moment, the long black dress slid down her voluptuous body and fell to her ankles, revealing her snow-white skin, the belly band that was held up high, her slender waist, and her straight and slender legs. What are you doing? Seeing the seductive woman take off her clothes without a word, Yi Qinfeng's frown deepened as he coldly asked, Young master, the night is lonely. Don't you want to do something with me? The seductive woman threw a flirtatious glance at Yi Qinfeng and took the initiative to seduce him. Badger game. While the seductive woman was seducing him, Yi Qinfeng's powerful soul sensed 2 rank 3 defiant beast kings quietly approaching. A cold light flashed in his eyes as he guessed their intentions. Young master, what are you waiting for? Am I not beautiful enough to make your heart flutter? The seductive woman was very confident in her appearance and charm. She constantly made seductive poses to stir Yi Qinfeng's heart. Okay, stop acting. Let your 2 companions in. The seductive woman did have the qualifications to be arrogant, but compared to you Nick Hang, Shui Hanyan, and Bai Ziqing, her appearance was still lacking. Yi Qinfeng sat by the round table and slowly spoke while looking at the seductive woman. The moment Yi Qinfeng finished speaking, the seductive woman's expression immediately changed. The two rank 3 defiant beast kings, hiding outside, also rushed in at this time. These 2 men who were scheming against Yi Qinfeng were the black-clothed men who had seen Yi Qinfeng's extravagance earlier in the treasure pavilion and wanted to blackmail him. "Brat, you're quite bold. You actually dared to take off my sister's clothes and do something to her. Do you know that you've broken the rules of Xingluo Sky City? Do you believe that I won't report you and let the enforcers punish you? However, if you're willing to give us 1,000,000 points as compensation, then we'll forget about today's matter." The man with the centipede scar at the corner of his eye revealed a ferocious expression. He purposely used the rules of Xingluo Sky City to blackmail Yi Qinfeng. He had used this blackmail method more than once. Under the deterrence of Xingluo Sky City, it was effective time and time again, bringing them great benefits. "Hey, aren't you guys just trying to blackmail me for some points? Is there a need to be so hypocritical and go through so much trouble?" Yi Qinfeng looked at the man in black, who was deeply immersed in his act, and revealed a mocking smile. "Brat, I advise you to be obedient. Otherwise, if the enforcers are alerted, I'll make you suffer." The man in black saw that Yi Qinfeng didn't have a trace of fear on his face and immediately became angry. He loudly warned, "Are you done talking?" Yi Qinfeng poured himself a cup of tea, pursed his lips, and took a small sip. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng's hands moved like flowing water. With the help of his powerful Tao intent, thousands of overlapping runes formed and sealed the entire room. "You, what do you want to do?" Seeing Yi Qinfeng's method of sealing the room with just a wave of his hand, the expressions of the black-clothed man and the black-clothed man, who smelled the scent of danger, changed drastically. As for the seductive woman, she was so frightened that she trembled, her face pale. "I'll send you to hell." Yi Qinfeng revealed a grim smile. The extremely sharp sword Tao pattern shot out from his fingers and pierced through the 3 men's heads at an extremely fast speed. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. 3 bright, red flowers of blood splattered in midair. The 3 men's heads were pierced through by Yi Qinfeng's sword Tao pattern. They fell heavily to the ground and died. After killing the 3 men in seconds, Yi Qinfeng released the death flame heavenly fire and burned the 3 men's corpses into ashes. He took away their belongings. 1,000,000 points. Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile. He was very satisfied with his harvest tonight. He cleared away all distracting thoughts and continued to regulate his breath and cultivate. He would head to the Thunder Pavilion at dawn. Mobile reading website. Book address. To facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 837. Early in the morning, a red sun sprinkled gold and jade, gushing out of the clouds. After cultivating for most of the night, Yi Qinfeng adjusted his mental state to its peak. Leaving the inn, he spent 1,000,000 points and went directly to the second layer of the thunder territory. What a rich thunder attribute aura! After entering the second lightning domain, Yi Qinfeng discovered that he could absorb the lightning attribute particles in the spirit qi into his body as he inhaled and exhaled. Those who were not strong enough would be injured by the violent lightning attribute particles in an instant. However, Yi Qinfeng enjoyed absorbing the thunder attribute particles in his body. Under the baptism of these thunder attribute particles, the cells in his body became stronger and stronger. Yi Qinfeng operated the soul-devouring art, absorbing the thunder attribute particles in the spiritual energy into his body. At the same time, he walked towards the clear sky pavilion. The pavilion was made of golden tiles and reflected a dazzling golden light. There are so many people, and there is no lack of geniuses. Walking into the treasure pavilion, Yi Qinfeng saw that the first floor of the treasure pavilion was very lively. Nearly 100 people were choosing their own treasures. Among these 100 people, there were many young genius disciples. Among them, there were even 2 who had the strength of a level 5 beast king. Yi Qinfeng did not stay in the noisy first floor of the treasure pavilion. Following the spiraling ancient wooden stairs, he walked towards the highest floor of the treasure pavilion, the 5th floor. Walking to the 5th floor of the treasure pavilion, Yi Qinfeng was stopped by a level 6 profound beast ancestor woman wearing a green dress. Her aura was simple and elegant, and she had a professional smile on her face. Judging from the appearance of the girl in the green dress, she was definitely not more than 35 years old. She had cultivated for 30 years and had cultivated to the 6th level of the profound beast ancestor realm. Adding on her extraordinary appearance, if the girl in the green dress was in the northern spiritual region, she would definitely be called a proud daughter of heaven. However, she was willing to be a gatekeeper in the 2nd layer of the Thunder Territory to earn points. It was enough to see how attractive the cultivation resources of Xingluo Heaven City were. Young Master, the Treasure Pavilion's 5th floor is a diamond and gold plate star cultivator. Silver plate star cultivators need to pay 1,000 points to enter, and bronze plate star cultivators need to pay 5,000 points. I wonder what level star cultivator you are. The green-dressed woman smiled and asked in a gentle voice, I am a bronze plate star cultivator. When Yi Qinfeng entered the Thunder Territory, he obtained an identity bronze plate, and to upgrade the bronze plate to a silver plate and become a silver plate star cultivator, he needed to win 10 matches in a row in the martial arts arena. And gold star cultivators were powerhouses who possessed 50 consecutive victories in the martial arts arena. In the Thunder Territory, they were absolute powerhouses. They could enjoy many unique cultivation resources, and diamond star cultivators were even more powerhouses among powerhouses. For example, in the Star Fields Thunder Calamity Road, the Thunder Law Heavenly Pavilion, and the 9 floors of Heaven Rank, only they had the qualifications to enter for experience. Young Master, bronze plate star cultivators need to pay 5,000 points to be able to enter. I wonder if you still want to go in? Knowing that Yi Qinfeng was only the most ordinary bronze star cultivator, the green-skirted woman's face did not change in the slightest, her voice sweetly asking. Go in. Yi Qinfeng nodded and paid the 5,000 points. In his heart, he was endlessly admiring Xingluo Heaven City's method of earning points. He did not dare to imagine how much wealth Xingluo Heaven City had used these useless points to exchange for. He felt that, in terms of wealth, the Eastern Continent's #1 power, the East Sea Palace, could not compare to Xingluo Heaven City. Young Master, please come in. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's expression remain unchanged as he paid the 5,000 points, the green-skirted woman's smile became even wider. She opened the forbidden dance and personally escorted Yi Qinfeng to a private room on the 5th floor, where she poured him a cup of dark green spirit tea. Young Master, do you need me to stay and accompany you? On the 5th floor of the treasure house, in addition to being able to purchase the most precious treasures, one could also enjoy some additional services. And if Yi Qinfeng was interested, he could pay some points and make love with the green-skirted woman. No need, I just came to buy something. Yi Qinfeng looked at the beautiful green-skirted woman, shook his head, and tactfully refused. Then I won't disturb young master. Despite being rejected, the green-skirted woman's face still did not change. Revealing a sweet smile, she slowly retreated. After a while, a white-haired old man wearing a white martial arts suit and gold-rimmed glasses walked in with a half-inch long jade strip in his hand. Young Master, all the treasures and prices in my treasure house are in the jade strip. Young Master can carefully browse. The white-clothed old man handed the jade strip in his hand to Yi Qinfeng and slowly said, Okay. Yi Qinfeng nodded. He released his soul power into the jade slip and quickly browsed through it. After about half an incense's time, Yi Chin Feng withdrew his soul power, opened his eyes, and said, "I want to buy thunder, silk grass, heavenly blood fruit, and golden goblin blood essence." Because young master is only a bronze star cultivator, there is no discount. So if young master wants to buy these 3 great spirit items, you need to pay the full price, a total of 2 million points. The white-haired old man said, "Okay, I'll buy them." Although Yi Chin Feng knew that the value of these 3 spirit items was definitely more than 3 times that of the outside world, the thunder silk grass was one of the main ingredients to refine the true spirit body tempering pill. The golden goblin blood essence was very useful to the space swallowing bugs, and the heavenly blood fruit could strengthen the power of the spirit fish bloodline. They could not be missed. So Yi Chin Feng still paid a high price, bought these 3 spirit items, and got up to leave. I really don't have enough points. After buying these 3 spirit items, Yi Chin Feng's points were less than 8 million. He gently sighed and prepared to go to the Thunder Pavilion to cultivate for a while, then go to the martial arena to earn points. The Thunder Pavilion was a unique cultivation ground of the Thunder territory. Not only was the spirit energy inside rich, it also contained a large amount of thunder attribute particles. Cultivating inside could not only increase one's cultivation speed, but also temper one's body. It was the favorite cultivation ground of the Thunder Territory's martial artists. After asking around, Yi Chin Feng came to the northwest of the Second Thunder Territory. It was located in a black stone mountain, shrouded in thick thunderclouds. It was shaped like a pagoda, and it was 9 stories high. Forbidden Thunder Cloud. Looking at the black thunder clouds above the Thunder Pavilion, Yi Chin Feng's powerful soul immediately sensed that these thunder clouds were not real. Instead, they were formed by tens of thousands of multiplying array patterns. They could continuously condense heavenly thunder and provide enough energy for the Thunder Pavilion. "I want to rent a level 9 thunder house for a month." He walked into the Thunder Pavilion, which was filled with thunder attribute particles, and came to the renting area. "Which faction do you belong to?" The man in the dark blue robe raised his head slightly and looked at Yi Chin Feng, who was unfamiliar to him, and asked in a neutral tone. "Neither," Yi Chin Feng said. "Then I'm sorry. The thunder houses above level 5 in the Thunder Pavilion have been reserved by the major factions or families in Xinluo Sky City. Others can only rent thunder houses below level 5. The man in the blue robe said tactfully, "What if I don't want to?" Thunder houses below level 5 were not very useful to Yi Chin Feng. He frowned slightly and said in a cold voice, "These are the rules of the Thunder Pavilion. I can't change them." The man in the blue robe said firmly, "And I advise you not to cause trouble." However, just as he finished speaking, Yi Chin Feng's eyes shot out a huge amount of illusion Dao patterns and injected them into his eyes. Instantly, Yi Chin Feng controlled his brain and consciousness. Then Yi Chin Feng ordered him to open the level 9 thunder house at the top of the Thunder Pavilion. He entered and began a month of seclusion. P.S. If you want to see the original images of the characters in 8 desolates, add the WeChat public number, YLTY83. Also, Cloud Tier's VIP group number, 279-43822. Only VIP readers. Cloud Tiers will send red packets to the group from time to time. When you enter the group, you will need the VIP number, mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 838. This level 9 lightning house is indeed a rare place for cultivation. After activating the restrictions of the level 9 lightning house, the spiritual energy in the lightning house instantly became rich. Amidst the pure spiritual energy, There was a large amount of lightning-attributed particles, which constantly stirred up sparks on the surface of Yi Qinfeng's skin. Sitting cross-legged on the futon in the center of the lightning house, Yi Qinfeng took out a pseudo-Dao pill that emitted a strong medicinal fragrance. He swallowed it and cleared all distracting thoughts. Then he began to cultivate using the soul-devouring tactic. As the soul-devouring incantation began to circulate faster and faster, the rich energy in the level 9 lightning house madly surged toward him. Soon, a vortex was formed above his head, and a large amount of energy and lightning attribute particles were madly pouring into his body. Soon, 13 days passed. Just as Yi Qinfeng was completely immersed in cultivation, a thin man in a dark blue martial arts suit appeared outside the level 9 lightning house that Yi Qinfeng was in. He had a pair of sunken eyes and an aquiline nose. He gave off the feeling that he was not to be trifled with. His face was extremely gloomy. Mother of asterisk cur, who is this? How dare he occupy the level 9 lightning house of my Su family? Is he tired of living? Seeing that the level 9 lightning house was occupied, the blue-robed man flew into a rage and roared angrily. Third young master, I just asked around. The people of the Thunder Court don't know the identity of the person inside. They don't know how he got in. Because Yi Qinfeng had erased the memory of the man from the Thunder Court, no one in the Thunder Court knew of Yi Qinfeng's existence. As long as he is not from those families, it will be easy. The blue-robed man revealed a ferocious expression and ordered loudly, "Break the restriction of this lightning house. I want to see who has the guts to occupy the cultivation resources of our Su family." Yes, third young master. The 2 level 4 defiant beast kings in gray obeyed. They each took out their upper-grade celestial weapons and forcefully attacked the restriction of the lightning house. Boom! 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 Under the ferocious attacks of the two, a deafening explosion rang out from the lightning house where Yi Qinfeng was. The loud noise woke up Yi Qinfeng from his meditation state, making him very angry. It was a taboo to be disturbed during cultivation. If one was disturbed when they were on the verge of breaking through, it was possible that they would fail at the last moment. It was even more likely that they would suffer a backlash and go berserk. You're courting death. A vicious light flashed in Yi Qinfeng's eyes, and he immediately closed the grade 9 lightning house. The next moment, 2 beams of light blasted open the tightly shut bronze door. A blue-robed man with a vicious aura walked in with 2 level for Defiant Beast Kings as his subordinates. When he saw Yi Qinfeng's unfamiliar face, he was completely at ease. With a sinister expression, he said, "Brat, how dare you? You actually dare to privately seize my Su clan's level 9 lightning house? Are you tired of living?" Pow! As soon as the blue-robed man finished speaking, he saw a blur in front of him. Yi Qinfeng suddenly appeared in front of him and slapped him on the left side of his face. The powerful force behind the slap sent him flying. His entire body drew a beautiful arc in the air before slamming heavily into the hard wall. A large amount of blood, mixed with broken teeth, splattered on the ground. Courting death! The 2 gray-robed men didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so daring as to injure them without saying a word. They were instantly enraged. Terrifying soul beast phantoms appeared in their bodies. They each held a high-grade celestial weapon and used powerful soul skills to attack Yi Qinfeng. They wanted to join forces and injure him severely. Humph! Seeing the 2 attacking with all their strength, Yi Qinfeng snorted coldly. He quickly pointed out 2 fingers. Finger lights filled with over 20 million gene of force crushed the air and pressed down on the 2's terrifying attacks. Kacha-kacha! 2 crisp cracking sounds rang out. The soul skills they used were broken. The high-grade celestial weapons in their hands couldn't withstand Yi Qinfeng's 2-finger attacks and were directly distorted and shattered. Then the finger lights that didn't diminish in power tapped on their chests. They broke through their defenses and penetrated their bodies. They were sent flying and were severely injured. "You, who exactly are you?" Seeing Yi Qinfeng shatter a high-grade celestial weapon with 2 fingers, the blue-robed man was scared out of his wits. Large amounts of sweat appeared on his forehead as he asked, while trembling, "A dead man doesn't need to know who I am." Yi Qinfeng looked coldly at the frightened blue-robed man and said with a murderous intent, "Wait, there was a misunderstanding just now. Please don't be angry. I am the 3rd young master of the Su family. As long as you let me go, my Su family will naturally give you a big gift." After seeing Yi Qinfeng's terrifying strength and feeling his murderous intent, the blue-robed man was really scared. He immediately brought out his identity and background to pressure Yi Qinfeng. "No need." As Yi Qinfeng spoke, sharp sword patterns shot out from his fingertips and pierced through the blue-robed man's head, killing him on the spot. You actually killed 3rd young master Su." Seeing the blue-robed man's head pierced through by the sword Dao patterns and dying, the 2 gray-robed men were scared out of their wits. They couldn't help but tremble as they spoke in horror. "So what if I killed him?" Yi Qinfeng looked at them indifferently and said domineeringly, "If your Su family isn't afraid of being annihilated, go ahead and take revenge for him." After speaking, Yi Qinfeng's body shot out more sword Dao patterns and attacked the 2 gray-robed men at an astonishing speed. In an instant, the 2 of them were pierced through by the extremely sharp sword Dao patterns. They fell into a pool of blood and died with thousands of holes in their bodies. When Yi Qinfeng killed 3rd young master Su and the other 2, the experts of the Thunder Court, who heard the commotion, rushed over. When they saw the corpses of 3rd young master Su and the other 2, they were all dumbfounded. Following which, the experts of the Thunder Court released their powerful auras and locked onto Yi Qinfeng. They were about to join forces to capture him and hand him over to the Su family for punishment. "If you don't want to die, scram!" Yi Qinfeng looked coldly at the experts of the Thunder Court and said rudely, "How dare you? How dare you threaten us?" A level 1 combat beast emperor with snow-white hair and eyes flashing fiercely walked out from the crowd and scolded loudly. Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Qinfeng quickly took a step forward. All the bones in his body hummed at the same time. The energy in the 5 major acupoints was completely unleashed and surged into his right fist. Like a shooting star, the fist radiance compressed to the extreme flew out with unparalleled destructive power and bombarded the white-haired old man whose expression changed drastically. Feeling the terrifying power of Yi Qinfeng's fist, the white-haired old man roared. A ferocious spirit beast emerged from his body. He quickly crossed his palms in front of his chest to block Yi Qinfeng's fist radiance. When the fist and palm collided, more than 20 million Jin of force exploded. The terrifying force was like a surging tide that surged into the white-haired old man's body. The impact forced him to retreat continuously. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth, and he almost fell to the ground. "You better not force me to kill. Otherwise, you will regret it." Yi Qinfeng looked coldly at the experts of the Thunder Court, who widened their eyes and changed their expressions as he warned them coldly. After finishing his words, Yi Qinfeng stood up and left the Thunder Court under the respectful gazes of the experts. He went directly to the busiest arena in the Second Lightning Region. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 839. Kill, kill, kill! When Yi Qinfeng arrived at the martial arena, where the air was filled with fanaticism and blood, he immediately heard the excited shouts from the spectator stands. Martial artists were standing in their seats, waving their arms and shouting. The atmosphere was very lively. Silence, Yi Qinfeng stood in the stands, his deep eyes constantly sweeping over the 6 massive martial stages, looking for a target. Who else? At this time, a 3-meter-tall bald man with explosive muscles, a ferocious wolf head tattooed on his chest, and a spiked club in his hand kicked his opponent away. He waved his arm and shouted arrogantly and overbearingly, "Too strong! That Shang Guanhong is too strong. He's already won 39 matches in a row. If he wins one more match, he'll have a 40. This kind of strength would make him a top powerhouse in the 3rd level Thunder Dominion. Yeah, he's in the limelight right now. Challenging him now is no different from throwing away one's life. But the gambling points accumulated to 1 million is too tempting. I think there's definitely someone who can't resist this huge temptation and will challenge Shang Guanhong." Many people were shocked by his strength and whispered to each other as they looked at the roaring, baleful bald man on the right side of the arena. 1 million gambling points, it'll be you. Hearing the whispers of the crowd, Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. Lightning flashed under his feet, and like a zigzagging bolt of lightning, he flew to the right side of the arena. See, I was right. Someone couldn't resist the gambling points and accepted Shang Guanhong's challenge. But this person is too weak. A 1st-level Reverse Beast King challenging a 5th-level Reverse Beast King. What's the difference between that and throwing away one's life? Seeing Yi Qinfeng fly onto the stage, many people were taken aback and revealed mocking smiles. "Hee hee, kid, you're really stupid. You want to challenge me with just a 1st-level Reverse Beast King? Do you believe that I won't break your neck?" The bald man crossed his arms and looked at Yi Qinfeng with disdain, sneering. "Whether I defeat you or not, the gambling points are all mine." Yi Qinfeng ignored the bald man's mocking gaze and said indifferently, "Ha ha ha, did I hear wrong? You want to defeat me? Do you know who I am? Do you know my strength?" The bald man was startled and then laughed arrogantly. The audience in the stands also laughed. For a moment, the scene was noisy and chaotic. "You talk too much nonsense," Yi Qinfeng said impatiently. "I'm here to fight, not to listen to your nonsense. You just need to tell me the rules." "Mother asterisk her, you reckless brat. I swear I'll twist off your dog head." The bald man was completely enraged by Yi Qinfeng's words. He glared at Yi Qinfeng with murderous intent. "According to the rules, you have to bet half of your points to challenge Shang Guanhong." At this moment, a deep voice rang out from the central grandstand. It was an old man in a black robe with a flushed face who spoke. "Okay, I'll bet 500,000 points." Yi Qinfeng glanced at the black-robed old man. Then he happily took out 500,000 points for the bet. "Okay, the gambling fight between the 2 of you can begin." The red-faced old man secretly sized up Yi Qinfeng. He didn't find anything special about him, so he announced, "Brat, go to hell." The bald man roared. The muscles on his arm that was holding the mace swelled rapidly. He was like an angry lion. He swung the mace that was tens of thousands of kilograms and smashed it at Yi Qinfeng. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng was about to be smashed by the mace, a light flashed under his feet. In an extremely short period of time, he made 3 consecutive moves and dodged to the back of the bald man. In the next moment, the ancient heavenly lightning appeared in his palm. His palm turned into afterimages and slammed heavily on the bald man's back. It broke the bald man's defense and sent him flying. Heavenly lightning. He actually subdued a type of heavenly lightning. Seeing the various forms of ancient heavenly lightning in Yi Qinfeng's right hand, the red-faced old man and the others who had seen many things revealed a trace of shock. The way they looked at Yi Qinfeng changed greatly. The martial artists who were cheering for Shang Guanhong were all speechless. They couldn't believe that Shang Guanhong was injured in the first exchange. "I'll kill you." Shang Guanhong was like an enraged lion. He quickly got up from the ground. Ignoring the injuries on his body, he swung the heavy mace at Yi Qinfeng. The The terrifying mace tore through the air like a moving mountain. It was violent and ferocious. Ancient heavenly lightning, break! Facing Shangguan Hong's ferocious attack, Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge. Instead, he released the extremely destructive ancient heavenly lightning to meet the attack. With a series of deafening roars of thunder, Shangguan Hong's mace shadows were all shattered by the ancient heavenly thunders. Bolts of lightning continued to strike his body, sending him flying once again. Damn it! How can this brat subdue the heavenly lightning? Shangguan Hong spat out a mouthful of blood as he fell heavily to the ground. There was no longer a trace of arrogance on his face. There was only fear, a deep sense of fear. It's over. Yi Qinfeng compressed the ancient heavenly lightning to its limit. With a light tap of his finger, the ancient heavenly lightning turned into a lightning ball and shot it at Shangguan Hong, whose expression changed greatly. Rumble! The sound of thunder rang again. Shangguan Hong was sent flying out of the battle arena by the ancient heavenly lightning. He fell heavily to the ground and fainted. He won. He really won. He defeated Shangguan Hong, who had 39 consecutive victories. Seeing how Yi Qinfeng defeated Shangguan Hong in less than half an incense's time, the spectators on the right side of the arena fell silent. Almost all the spectators were shocked by the destructive power of the ancient heavenly lightning and were speechless for a moment. I'll add another 500,000 points. I'll use 2 million points as a wager. Who dares to challenge me? After defeating the bald man, Yi Qinfeng didn't leave immediately. Instead, he increased the wager as he looked around and said loudly, although 2 million points was enough to make everyone's eyes turn red, no one dared to challenge him after witnessing the destructive power of the ancient heavenly lightning. I'll do it. Suddenly, in the arena that had gradually quietened down, 8 experts wearing dark blue martial arts robes appeared. Among them, a tall and straight man with a black beard and bright eyes who was a level 1 combat beast emperor looked at Yi Qinfeng with killing intent as he said in a sinister voice, Yi Qinfeng, don't worry. It's the Su family. Why are they here? Does the Su family have a grudge with this guy? Seeing the sudden appearance of the 8 blue-robed men, many people recognized them. Their eyes lit up as they felt that there would be a good show to watch. Su family, you guys came at the right time. I was worried that no one would give me points. After knowing the identity of the 8 blue-robed men, Yi Qinfeng was overjoyed. He said indifferently, I'll add another 1 million points. I'll bet 3 million points. Wow. As soon as Yi Qinfeng finished his words, there was an uproar in the arena that had just quieted down. No matter how many points you have, you can't buy your life. Looking at the real murderer of 3rd young master Su, the blue-robed man who accepted the challenge leaped up and appeared on the arena. He took out 1,500,000 battle points and said coldly, Brat, I promise you that you will regret being born into this world. Make a promise? What's a promise? Is it very powerful? Yi Qinfeng said mockingly, You're courting death. A raging fury exploded in the blue-robed man's chest. He held a supreme-grade heaven-tier spear in his hand and pierced through the layers of air, stabbing towards Yi Qinfeng. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 840. Thunderbolt Flash. The blue-robed man thrust his spear at Yi Qinfeng. Several bolts of lightning flashed under Yi Qinfeng's feet. Yi Qinfeng was like a zigzag bolt of lightning. He flashed in front of the blue-robed man and appeared behind him. Back thrust. The blue-robed man reacted quickly. His body twisted quickly and elegantly stabbed behind him. He wanted to pierce Yi Qinfeng. Pa! Suddenly, a light flashed in front of his eyes. A powerful palm landed on his face. The huge force made his head tremble. Blood flowed out of his 7 orifices. His entire body was sent flying. Just as he was sent flying in the air, Yi Qinfeng grabbed his ankle. He exerted force with his entire body and slammed the blue-robed man's body into the hard ground with a beautiful suplex. Suddenly, a large amount of blood flowed out of his head and dyed his entire face red. Just as he burned his bloodline power and struggled to break free from Yi Qinfeng's grip to launch his strongest counterattack, Yi Qinfeng exerted force again. This time, he exceeded the blue-robed man's endurance. Another beautiful suplex pulled him up from the ground and slammed him to the other side. Then, Yi Qinfeng repeated the same move. He continued to use suplex and heavily injured the blue-robed man's body. After more than 10 suplex, the blue-robed man's body was covered in blood. His head was about to explode. He lay motionless in a pool of blood. Damn, isn't he too valiant? He directly smashed a combat beast emperor expert of the Su family half to death. How can this guy have so much strength? He humiliated the Su family. The remaining 7 emperors of the Su family won't forgive him. The spectators in the spectator stands were dumbfounded. Yi Qinfeng had attracted the attention of almost everyone in the spectator stands during the battle just now. I'll bet 4 million points. Who's next? Yi Qinfeng definitely would not let go of this opportunity to earn points. He increased the stakes as he looked at the 7 gloomy Su family experts with ferocious gazes. For million points. Although the 7 emperors of the Su family wanted nothing more than to cut Yi Qinfeng into 1,000 pieces, the shocking scene from before made them realize how terrifying Yi Qinfeng was. However, if they were to retreat like this, the Su family's reputation would definitely be ruined. For a moment, they were caught in a dilemma. All right, let's not waste any more time. If you're afraid, then all 7 of you can come at me together. I'll take on however many of you there are. Yi Qinfeng said domineeringly as he looked at the gloomy expressions of the Su family's experts. He didn't want to deal with these big fish. Crazy, this person must be crazy. A level 1 reverse beast king challenging 7 emperors? Did I hear that right? Level 1 reverse beast king realm? For a rank 1 defiant beast king to be so strong, this person must have been hiding his true strength. I feel like the Su family has kicked an iron plate this time. You really want to challenge the 7 of us? A level 2 combat beast emperor with white hair and an aquiline nose snorted coldly and said angrily, although he knew that even if the 7 of them joined forces to defeat Yi Qinfeng, they would still lose face. However, they had no choice but to join forces to kill Yi Qinfeng and wash away their shame with his blood. Are you deaf? Do you want me to repeat myself? Yi Qinfeng deliberately mocked. All right, my time is precious. Let's not waste any more time. After I'm done with you, I still want to go to the Su family and ask for something. Damn, this person is too arrogant. He doesn't even put the Su family in his eyes. This is getting more and more interesting. Who is this person? Why have I never heard of him? It's my first time seeing him too. However, if he can really fight 1 against 7, his name will soon spread throughout the 2nd lightning region. Boom! Hearing the whispers, the 7 Su family members could no longer control the anger in their hearts. They took out 2 million betting points and jumped onto the battle arena, surrounding Yi Qinfeng. Brat, I'll crush all the bones in your body and make you beg for mercy on the ground like a dog, the white-haired old man said while gritting his teeth as he looked at Yi Qinfeng coldly with a supreme-grade celestial artifact in his hand. After saying that, the 7 of them controlled their respective supreme-grade celestial artifacts and surrounded Yi Qinfeng. They wanted to end the battle quickly and teach him a lesson. The 7 of them launched their attacks, one after another. They were airtight and there were no gaps. However, Yi Qinfeng, who was in the middle of the storm, was unmoved and fearless. As the ancient heavenly lightning flew out of his body, it turned into a thunderous roar and instantly tore apart the attacks of the 3 emperors and approached them. In the next moment, an extremely cold qi gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body and froze the feet of the three emperors at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, the feet of the three emperors were frozen by the dual polar ancient heavenly water. Their mobility was greatly affected. Bam, bam, bam. Yi Qinfeng quickly threw out 3 punches. The terrifying fist radiance smashed into the chests of the 3 emperors who couldn't dodge in time, shattering their sternum and sending them flying hundreds of meters away. They fell out of the battle arena and lost the battle. After severely injuring the 3 emperors at lightning speed, Yi Qinfeng quickly twisted his body and stepped on lightning to avoid the attacks from behind and from the sides. He appeared in a corner of the battle arena. Now it's only the 4 of you left, Yi Qinfeng said indifferently as he looked at the 4 emperors of the Su family with gloomy expressions. Attack with all your strength. Don't show mercy. The 4 emperors of the Su family didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so powerful. He was able to severely injure the 3 emperors in the blink of an eye. A trace of uneasiness appeared in their hearts. They didn't hesitate to burn their powerful bloodline and blood essence to go all out. Going all out? Yi Qinfeng looked at the 4 emperors of the Su family and revealed a mocking expression. But what's the use of going all out? As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng stepped on lightning again and attacked the 4 emperors of the Su family. Heavenly constellation. Yi Qinfeng closed in like lightning. The 4 emperors of the Su family didn't hesitate to unleash their Dao intent to the extreme and used the strongest Dao technique of the Su family. Surging soul power and Dao were transformed into 4 towering, celestial phenomena that looked like they were stepping on hell. They charged towards Yi Qinfeng, wanting to crush him. 7 swords of judgment, eclipse. 40 sword Dao inscriptions and fire Dao inscriptions gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body. They turned into a scarlet light sword that was like a scorching sun. It carried an unstoppable sword aura and tore through space. Like a fan, it slashed towards the 4 heavenly constellations. Boom! As the eclipse sword slashed across, the 4 heavenly constellations' massive bodies were split apart. In the next moment, the eclipse sword slashed towards the 4 emperors of the Su family. Their expressions changed drastically. Following 4 painful coughs of blood, the 4 emperors of the Su family, including the Class 2 Combat Beast Emperor, were all sent out of the arena by the eclipse sword and lost the match. The scene of Yi Qinfeng defeating the 7 peerless emperors of the Su family by himself shocked the entire battle arena. Many cultivators looked at him with reverence in their eyes. How about another bet? This time, I'll give you a handicap of 1 hand. Let's bet 5 million points. Yi Qinfeng challenged as he looked at the heavily injured experts of the Su family. You've gone too far. The leading elder of the Su family had never suffered such humiliation before. He was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. His body trembled as he spoke. Yes, I've gone too far. Don't you want to teach me a lesson? How about this? Let's bet less this time. We'll bet 3 million points. Even 2 million points is fine, Yi Qinfeng said. Let's go. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng treated them as free points, the 7 emperors of the Su family were driven mad. However, Yi Qinfeng's strength was too terrifying. They didn't want to embarrass themselves and left in humiliation. 8,300,000 points. Gambling is indeed the fastest way to earn points. I'll soon be able to gather 10 million points to enter the Triple Lightning Dominion. However, the 10 million points I need to enter the Triple Lightning Dominion will still be paid by you. Looking at the backs of the Su family experts, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile. His body flashed slightly as he left the noisy arena and quietly followed them to the Su family. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends. QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 841. The Su family was an old, 6th-rank family in Xingluo Heavenly City. They had an old ancestor who was a level 3 beast emperor. Their family was ranked 5th in Xingluo Heavenly City. In the entire Xingluo continent, other than Jiang, by Jasper Palace, Sunluo Temple, and other superpowers, no one dared to provoke them. Family head, the 3rd elder, and the others are back. An old man with snow-white hair and wearing a dark gray robe came to the back hall of the Su family manor. He spoke respectfully to a burly man with a well-defined face who was lying on a tiger leather chair with squinting eyes. The man was currently enjoying a massage from 2 women wearing thin gauze miniskirts who exposed their bodies. Did you catch that, audacious Xing? The Su family head, Su Meng, asked in a low voice with a stern look in his eyes. No. The 3rd elder and the others came back with injuries. The gray-robed old man said, I heard that person is very strong. The 3rd elder and the others suffered a great loss. Trash, a bunch of trash. Su Meng sat up and said angrily, Tell them to come and see me. After a while, the 7 heavily injured 3rd elder and the others came to the back hall. Seeing the gloomy face of Su Meng and the twitching of the corner of his eyes, they felt nervous and quickly told him what happened, including Yi Qinfeng's terrifying strength. You said that person hid his strength? His true strength is that of an emperor-level powerhouse. After listening to the 3rd elder, Su Meng's face became even more gloomy, and he said coldly, Yes, the 7 of us together couldn't defeat him. I'm sure that he hid his strength and is an emperor-level powerhouse. The 3rd elder nodded and said, Housekeeper Su, bring a heaven-rank soul pill and invite Commander Jean here. Tell him that our Su family is in trouble, and we need his help. Su Meng thought for a while and said that he wanted to use the law enforcers of Xingluo Heavenly City to deal with Yi Qinfeng. No need to go through so much trouble. Didn't you want to catch me? I came here myself. Yi Qinfeng relied on the God-Eater brain and his absolute strength to tear apart the seal that enveloped the Su clan. He walked through the void step by step. Patriarch, it's him. He's the one who killed the 3rd young master. Seeing Yi Qinfeng walk through the air, the 3rd elder and the others widened their eyes. They never thought that Yi Qinfeng would be so bold as to come to the Su family mansion alone. You really have guts. You killed my son and injured the experts of my Su family. You even dare to come to my Su family alone to show off your strength. Do you really think that my Su family is easy to bully? Su Jieshe appeared on the square and looked sharply at Yi Qinfeng's ordinary face as he spoke gloomily. You're right. I'm really here to bully you. The corners of Yi Qinfeng's mouth curled up slightly. He looked at the stern faces of Su and the others and slowly said, Give me 10 million points, and I'll leave immediately. I won't bother you guys again in the future. Presumptuous. The old steward of the Su family, the gray-robed old man who was a 2nd-grade combat beast emperor, roared furiously. He merged with the power of his spiritual beast. The Tao of metal and fire gushed out of his body and turned into a Tao phenomenon. He trampled on the void and bombarded Yi Qinfeng. Great palm of 5 elements. When Steward Su used the heavenly phenomenon to attack, Yi Qinfeng immediately formed a palm seal. The Tao of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth condensed into a giant palm that covered the sky. It carried an unparalleled power and shattered the heavenly phenomenon with a single palm strike. It fell on Steward Su, whose expression changed greatly. Boom! When the great palm of 5 elements fell, Steward Su, who was a 2nd-grade combat beast emperor, was ruthlessly smashed into the collapsed ground. A large amount of blood flowed out of his bloody body as he directly fell unconscious. Tao of 5 elements. You actually cultivated the Tao of 5 elements. Steward Su and the others widened their eyes and looked at the incomparably domineering Yi Qinfeng with a look of disbelief. The Tao of 5 elements was very difficult to cultivate. One had to comprehend the Tao of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth at the same time, and then merge the Tao of 5 elements together to cultivate the Tao of 5 elements. It could be said that those who cultivated the Tao of 5 elements were all shocking geniuses. The scene of Yi Qinfeng severely injuring Steward Su with a single palm strike deeply shocked their hearts and made them feel a deep fear. I don't want to bully you, nor do I want to start a massacre. Give me 10 million points, and I'll leave immediately, Yi Qinfeng said coldly as he looked at the constantly changing expressions of Steward Su and the others. Your Excellency is very strong, but isn't 10 million points too much? At this moment, a blurry figure suddenly appeared. It was a slightly stooped old woman with a head full of silver hair. She was wearing a long robe with phoenix patterns and holding a dragon head walking stick. She spoke in a hoarse voice. This silver-haired old woman was the greatest reliance of the Su family. She was Steward Su's biological mother, a level 3 combat beast emperor, Su Fengxian. She was very famous in Xingluo Sky City. Very. The corners of Yi Qinfeng's mouth curled up slightly. He looked at Su Fengxian and said, "How about this? If you can take a blow from me without getting injured, I'll leave immediately and won't cause trouble for you in the future." "Okay, if I can't even take a blow from you, I'll give you 10 million points immediately." Su Fengxian's turbid eyes shone brightly as she said in a hoarse voice. After speaking, the phantom of a heavenly bird appeared on Su Fengxian's stooped body. Her strength rose steadily. In just 2 breaths, Su Fengxian, who had fused with her spiritual beast and burned her bloodline power, reached the limit of a level 3 combat beast emperor. A large amount of soul power boiled on the surface of her body, causing ripples to appear in the air. "Get ready, I'm going to attack." Sensing Su Fengxian's increasing strength, Yi Qinfeng's expression didn't change at all. He reminded her calmly, and the power in his 5 acupoints erupted. 7 swords of judgment, destroy! Yi Qinfeng used his hand as a sword. 2,500 pounds of force, 80 sword Tao patterns, and the 5 elements Tao intent fused together and turned into a 1-foot destroyer ship that slashed forward. The terrifying sword caused a deep sword mark to appear in the space. It swept away everything in its path and slashed on the defensive light curtain that Su Fengxian had created continuously and fused with a large amount of soul power and Tao intent. Crack! The defensive light curtain created by Su Fengxian couldn't withstand the burning, and the destroyer ship shattered. The space in front of Su Fengxian even showed signs of collapsing. The terrifying sword momentum directly blasted on Su Fengxian's body, whose expression changed drastically. It broke through her body's defense and sent her flying. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably from her mouth. After the sword strike, Su Fengxian, who was a level 3 combat beast emperor, was seriously injured. "Now you are willing to give me 10 million points, right?" Yi Qinfeng looked down at Su Fengxian and the others, who had a drastic change of expression and revealed a look of fear. He questioned them without allowing them to resist. "Yes, give him 10 million points." After witnessing Yi Qinfeng's terrifying strength, Su Fengxian was also a little scared. She had no doubt that Yi Qinfeng definitely had the terrifying strength to wipe out the Su clan. Yes. Su Fengxian, who was completely intimidated, didn't dare to insist anymore. He obediently took out the 10 million points card and gave it to Yi Qinfeng. "All right, the grudge between me and the Su clan is settled. Remember, don't try to use the Xingluo Sky City's enforcers to deal with me. If I find out that you still haven't changed, don't blame me for wiping out the Su clan." After taking away the 10 million points card, Yi Qinfeng gave a cold warning. He tore apart the restriction that shrouded the Su clan's residence and left forcefully. Remember the website address. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 842. Late at night, the crescent moon hung high in the sky, reflecting the bright moonlight. The entire Xingluo Sky City was hazy like a dream. Yi Qinfeng paid 10 million points. Just as he stepped onto the triple lightning territory that seemed to be built in the clouds, the communication pearl on his chest suddenly lit up. When he opened the communication pearl, Xing Manyu's pleading voice rang out. Something happened to the falling star pavilion? Hearing Xing Manyu's helpless voice, Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly and left the triple lightning territory. He stepped into the night and came to the falling star pavilion, which had just experienced a huge battle and had its protective array broken. He saw Xing Keru, who was heavily injured and being supported by Xing Manyu, walking out. What happened? Who did you provoke? Looking at the severely injured Xing Keru and the injured Xing Manyu and the rest, Yi Qinfeng asked softly, It's all my fault. I provoked a huge enemy for the falling star pavilion. Xing Miaoyu, whose cheeks were red and swollen, sobbed as she recounted what had happened. You are not to blame for this. Yi Qinfeng looked at Xing Miaoyu, whose eyes were red from crying, and said indifferently, The falling star pavilion was attacked because an expert had taken a fancy to Xing Miaoyu and wanted to take her as a concubine. If not for the enforcers of Xingluo Sky City being alerted at the crucial moment, Xing Miaoyu and her sister might have been forcibly taken away by that person. The falling star pavilion would have suffered even more severe damage. Sigh. Fengqin, I did not expect Manyu to call you over. However, that person is very strong and his identity is not simple. Even the enforcers did not dare to suppress him. You better not get involved in this mess. Xing Keru did not know Yi Qinfeng's strength and sighed helplessly. Vice Pavilion Master, how are you going to get through this crisis? Yi Qinfeng looked at Xing Keru's pale face and asked softly, Sai, I am going to send Manyu and the rest away and then spend some points to ask the people of Xingluo Sky City to mediate, Xing Keru said helplessly after taking a deep breath. How about this, Vice Pavilion Master? Give me the points you want to spend, and I'll help you solve the crisis of your falling star pavilion. What Yi Qinfeng lacked the most right now was points, so he slowly said, Fengqin, I'm afraid you are not that person's match. Xing Keru shook her head and kindly reminded him, although he is only a 6th grade reverse beast king, his attack power surpasses that of a 1st grade battle beast emperor. He is a peerless genius. Don't worry, Deputy Pavilion Master. Since I dared to show up, I naturally have full confidence. Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly, brimming with confidence. This, Xing Keru and the others exchanged glances. They still had some doubts about Yi Qinfeng's strength. After all, if this matter was not handled properly, not only would it harm Xing Manyu and the others, but it would also harm the falling star pavilion. They did not dare to take this risk. All right, you don't have a choice. If I'm not mistaken, that person is here. Yi Qinfeng looked at the troubled faces of Xing Keru and the others and smiled faintly. He then turned to look at the void in the distance. His powerful soul could clearly sense that a 6th grade reverse beast king expert with a sharp aura had torn through the dark night sky. It was like a peerless flying sword, flying towards the falling star pavilion. That person is here again? Is he going to challenge the rules of Xingluo Sky City? Xing Keru and the others' faces changed drastically, and the uneasiness in their hearts grew stronger. That peerless genius was definitely not a reckless person. He had repeatedly challenged the rules of Xingluo Sky City. He definitely had some unknown backing. Don't worry, leave everything to me. You just need to prepare the points. Looking at the pale and flustered faces of Xing Keru and the others, Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly and said calmly, Buzz. A shocking sword light streaked across the sky, cutting through everything in its path. It slashed towards the broken restriction above the falling star pavilion, wanting to rely on an absolute attack to break it. At this moment, 6th grade Dao intent gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body and turned into a sword of Dao intent. It met the attack head-on and broke the shocking sword light. I didn't expect you to have invited helpers. The peerless genius who was flying rapidly revealed a trace of surprise. But it doesn't matter who comes. If you don't hand those two beauties over to me, your falling star pavilion will be annihilated. What a big tone! Yi Qinfeng sneered and said, Deputy Pavilion Master, open the restriction and let him in. Okay. Xing Keru hesitated for a moment, but still opened the severely damaged restriction that enveloped the falling star pavilion, allowing the peerless genius to fly into the front yard of the falling star pavilion. Devil Chi, he's from the True Demon clan. Yi Qinfeng looked at the man who was wearing a black star-patterned robe and a pair of 7 stars boots. His long and narrow eyes gave off a ferocious light, and he gave off an extremely dangerous feeling. Yi Qinfeng's sharp senses detected the hidden demonic aura in his body. His eyebrows twitched slightly as he guessed his identity. The man in the black star robe looked coldly at Yi Qinfeng, whose aura was fluctuating, and said coldly, You're the one who broke my attack earlier? Yi Qinfeng looked at him indifferently with his hands behind his back and said, Sir, aren't you ignoring the rules of Xingluo Heavenly City by attacking the Falling Star Pavilion so recklessly? I don't know what the rules of the city are, but I know that the women I've taken a fancy to have never escaped from my grasp. The man in the star robe said domineeringly, If you want to be the hero who saves the beauty, don't blame me for breaking your neck. I'm definitely going to save this beauty. Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly as he said playfully, And I'm going to stand here and wait for you to break my neck. You're courting death. The infuriated man in the star robe took a step forward, and a crimson centipede that was hundreds of meters long and had tens of thousands of feet appeared on his body. It rolled its body and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Your spiritual beast is not bad, but you're too weak. Yi Qinfeng stood in silence as the ancient heavenly thunder flew out of his body and turned into a huge thunderbolt net. It enveloped the centipede and crazily destroyed its sole body. Heavenly thunder! The man in the star robe narrowed his eyes as he looked at the ancient heavenly thunder that was making a deafening sound with a hint of surprise. I didn't expect you to have subdued a type of heavenly thunder. It seems that I have to be more serious. With that, the man in the star robe suddenly sped up, and 50 sword Tao patterns gushed out of his body and turned into a 30-foot-long giant sword. It had amazing destructive power and split open the thunderbolt net. In the next moment, the man in the star robe merged with the centipede, and his strength instantly surpassed the limit of the reverse Beast King. He held the pseudo-Tao artifact, Moonlight Sword, and stabbed toward Yi Qinfeng. Lion King's roar! The man in the star robe attacked quickly, and Yi Qinfeng's upper body suddenly expanded. A terrifying sound wave erupted from his mouth and turned into a ferocious lion's head. It bombarded the man in the star robe with a force that could pierce through clouds and split rocks. Buzz! Being attacked by Yi Qinfeng's Lion King's roar at such a close distance, the man in the star robe's soul trembled. His blood and qi tumbled violently, and his reaction slowed down a little. In the next moment, a sword light flashed in front of his eyes, and an unstoppable light sword pierced toward his head, forcing him to dodge instinctively. When the star-robed man used his powerful strength to forcefully neutralize Yi Qinfeng's sword light, Yi Qinfeng took a step forward. Like a bolt of lightning, he suddenly appeared in front of the star-robed man and punched him in the chest, sending him flying. Thump! 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 The man in the star robe, who had lost control of his body, kept retreating, leaving deep footprints on the ground. As he retreated, a large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. In the short exchange, the man in the star robe was injured. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 843. So powerful. Brother Feng, Qin actually managed to injure him. Xing Manyu and her sister widened their eyes in shock when they saw the star-robed man vomiting blood and retreating in defeat. Excitement filled their faces. As for the severely injured Xing Keru, her eyes also lit up. From the powerful battle prowess that Yi Qinfeng had displayed, he might really be able to resolve the Falling Star Pavilion's crisis. Your strength is only SOSO. Yi Qinfeng mocked coldly as he looked at the star-robed man who had retreated 13 steps before stabilizing himself. True demon heaven technique. The star-robed man took a deep breath and suppressed his surging blood. He circulated his powerful demonic technique and prepared to launch a fatal attack to kill Yi Qinfeng to vent his anger. "Stop, all of you, stop!" Suddenly, a deep voice rang out in the dark night sky. Over a dozen law enforcers wearing golden armor and wielding divine weapons rushed over when they heard the commotion. "Third Commander, this person has come to our Falling Star Pavilion to cause trouble again. Third Commander, please help us suppress this person." The pale-faced Xing Keru immediately cried out for help when she saw the leader of the group, who had a tall figure and a thick black beard and emitted a powerful pressure. "Young Master Lin, the Falling Star Pavilion has a close relationship with the Great Commander. I hope that young Master Lin can give face to the Great Commander and stop making things difficult for them," the Third Commander said politely as he looked at the star-robed man. Thump! Xing Keru and the rest felt their hearts skip a beat when they saw the Third Commander's attitude. They felt deeply uneasy. I said, "Let me take the two of them away. I will not cause trouble for the Falling Star Pavilion anymore." The star-robed man frowned when he saw the Third Commander and the other law enforcers rush over. He suppressed the anger in his heart and spoke domineeringly. "Impossible. I will not let you take them away." Yi Qinfeng refused coldly. He would not allow Xing Manyu and her sister to be defiled. "Third Commander, do you see that? It's not that I don't want to give the Falling Star Pavilion a chance. It's just that someone doesn't know what's good for him. I advise you to stop meddling in other people's business." The man in the star robes looked sharply at Yi Qinfeng as he spoke in a sinister manner. "All right, let's not talk about these useless things. I challenge you now. Let's go to the martial arena and have a life and death battle. I wonder if you dare to accept my challenge?" Yi Qinfeng laughed coldly. "A life and death bet? Betting points?" The man in the star robe frowned slightly, and the killing intent in his eyes intensified. "If you don't dare, then hurry up and get lost. Don't embarrass yourself here." Yi Qinfeng intentionally provoked him and taunted. "Fine, fine. I'll do as you wish. We'll have a life and death bet," the man in the star robe said with a murderous look. "Since that's the case, let's go. I'll be waiting for you at the Thunder Region's battle arena. I hope you won't be too scared to come." After he finished speaking, Yi Qinfeng's body flickered and he transformed into a bolt of lightning, tearing through the night as he flew towards the sky-split tower. "I swear I'll skin you alive." The arrogant man in the star robe was completely enraged. He angrily roared and followed Yi Qinfeng towards the Thunder Region. "Vice Pavilion Master, do you think Big Brother Feng Qin can win?" Looking at the two people's departing backs, Xing Miaoyu nervously asked. If Yi Qinfeng was defeated, then he would most likely be killed by the man in the star robe. "Yes, I believe that Big Brother Feng Qin will definitely be able to defeat him. Let's go. We'll go to the first lightning territory and cheer for Big Brother Feng Qin." Xing Manyu bit her red lips and said. Her voice was filled with trust for Yi Qinfeng. Late at night, the Thunder Region's battle arena was not as noisy as it was during the day. Out of the 6 square battle arenas, there was only a single battle arena going on. There were only a few people in the stands. Just as the person in charge of the battle arena was about to fall asleep, an ear-piercing sound pierced through the air, causing him to open his eyes. Then his vision blurred as 2 extremely fast figures appeared on the battle arena. What fast speed? Seeing the sudden appearance of Yi Qin-feng and the man in the star robe, the person in charge of the battle arena, a white-haired old man, revealed a trace of surprise. He did not expect that two peerless geniuses would duel in the middle of the night. "Brat, I promise I will crush your dog head and send you to hell." The man in the star robe looked at Yi Qin-feng with a cold gaze and said with a murderous aura, "Cut the crap. 8,000,000 points. Do you dare to bet with me?" Yi Qin-feng sneered. 8,000,000 points. Hearing Yi Qin-feng's bet, the man in the star robe frowned. Although he was arrogant and had an extraordinary background, he did not have that many points. The person in charge of the battle arena was also shocked by Yi Qin-feng's bet. 8,000,000 points was almost enough to exchange for a low-grade Dao tool. "What, you don't dare to bet?" Looking at the man in the star robe who had a gloomy expression and did not reply for a long time, Yi Qin-feng sneered unceremoniously. "Weren't you very arrogant just now? Why are you suddenly mute?" "I only have 8,000,000 points." The man in the star robe glared at Yi Qin-feng and said sullenly, "So you are a pauper. How boring." Yi Qin-feng curled his lips and said unhappily, "This pseudo-Dao tool is worth 3,000,000 points. If you can defeat me, it is yours." The man in the star robe took out a black heavy sword that was engraved with a large number of array patterns and weighed 150,000 kilograms. "If you say it's worth 3,000,000 points, then it's worth 3,000,000 points. Also, if I kill you, everything you have will be mine," Yi Qin-feng said coldly. "Damn it, are you going to fight or not?" The man in the star robe was about to go crazy. Blue veins popped out on his forehead as he roared like an angry lion. "Forget it. Since you are so poor, let's bet 8,000,000 points." Yi Qin-feng looked at the man in the star robe who was fuming with anger. His face was flushed red and his body was emitting a strong murderous aura. "I will definitely tear you to pieces." The man in the star robe, who had been humiliated, gritted his teeth and said he could not wait to kill Yi Qin-feng to vent his anger. "Don't worry, the person who will die will definitely not be me. Elder, we're going to bet 5,000,000 to 800,000 points. Please be our witness." Yi Qin-feng looked at the person in charge of the night arena and said, "Bet on life and death? Have you really decided?" The old man asked in surprise. Although there were fights every day in the arena, very few people would bet on life and death. After all, there was only one life. Ordinary people would not bet on life and death. "We have decided," Yi Qin-feng and the man in the star robe said at the same time. "Since all of you have made up your minds, then only one of you will walk out of this battle alive," the old man announced in a loud voice. Boom! As soon as the old man finished speaking, a terrifying murderous aura erupted from the man in the star robe. He was like a ferocious demonic beast. His murderous aura overflowed and made people feel like their insides were being torn apart. When the man in the star robe was about to launch a fatal attack, Yi Qin-feng's aura also changed. He was like an unsheathed divine sword that was extremely sharp. Just as the battle was about to start, Xing Keru, Xing Miaoyu, and the third commander appeared in the arena to watch the battle between the two of them. In addition to Xing Keru and the others, there was also a blurry shadow following them. However, this person's method of concealing his aura was very brilliant. He merged with the darkness, and no one discovered his existence. Yi Qin-feng and the man in the star roared. Sword Dao intent gushed out of their bodies at the same time. They intertwined with the terrifying power of Sword Dao and fought fiercely. Mobile reading home, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 844. 10-Kill Sword. The man in the star robe gripped the ancient pattern heavy, sword tightly with both hands. Powerful sword Dao pattern and death Dao intent were intertwined as he slashed at Yi Qinfeng, wanting to kill him with a single slash. After being attacked by the 10-kill sword, Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge or take out any Dao artifact. Instead, he welcomed the attack with his bare hands. The man in the star robe didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so arrogant as to use his bare hands to welcome the attack. The killing intent in his eyes intensified as he wanted to chop off Yi Qinfeng's arm to shut him up. Xing Manyu and her sister, whose hearts were in their throats, were so frightened that they closed their eyes and didn't dare to continue watching. Bang! As the palm and sword clashed, there was a burst of blinding radiance that lit up the dimly lit arena. The terrifying power was like a raging wave that swept out in all directions. What? When the sword slashed at Yi Qinfeng's palm, the man in the star robe felt as though he was slashing at a 10,000-year-old meteoric iron. A powerful rebounding force passed through the ancient pattern-heavy sword and into his arm, causing his arm to feel numb. Lion King's roar! While the man in the star robe was still in shock, Yi Qinfeng released another powerful roar. It was like a surging wave that blasted at the man in the star robe. True devil heaven technique. At this critical moment, the man in the star robe circulated his powerful demonic art and released billowing demonic aura that gathered in front of him. It formed a tough barrier that resisted the attack of the Lion King's roar. Sword fist. When the demonic aura barrier resisted the attack of the Lion King's roar, Yi Qinfeng quickly took a step forward. 50 sword Dao patterns fused into his right fist as he blasted at the demonic aura barrier and shattered it. The powerful aftershock forced the man in the star robe to retreat. True devil hand. The man in the star robe suppressed his surging blood essence and circulated the true devil heaven technique to the extreme. He formed a sky-covering devil hand with unparalleled pressure and pressed down on Yi Qinfeng, using demonic techniques without any restraints. It seems like Xingluo Sky City and the True Demon Clan are really working together. Yi Qinfeng's eyes narrowed as he looked at the True Demon hand that was filled with demonic aura. 60 sword Dao patterns surged out of his body and transformed into a shocking sword that slashed apart the True Demon hand. If Yi Qinfeng hadn't deliberately concealed his strength and didn't want to expose himself too early, he could have easily killed the man in star robes. Bloodline ignition. The man in the star robe didn't expect Yi Qinfeng's battle prowess to be on par with his own. Without hesitation, he ignited the power of his bloodline, and the phantom of a sky-reaching centipede appeared on his body. With the increase in his strength, the power of his true devil hands became even stronger. Giant hands of devil qi descended from the sky, suppressing Yi Qinfeng's body. The air in the entire arena was constantly being compressed and exploding, and the dense sound of air exploding could be heard incessantly. This person's attack is too strong. This level of attack is probably comparable to a grade 2 combat beast emperor. Seeing the descending true devil hands, Shinkaru and the others became increasingly nervous. They were afraid that they would see the scene of Yi Qinfeng being defeated and killed. Sword Dao pattern, 7th heaven. Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge the continuous attacks of the true devil hands. He raised his sword Dao intent to the 7th heaven. Dense sword patterns surged out of his body and continuously tore apart the descending true devil hands. N. Sword Dao intent, 7th heaven. The man in the star robe raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to have such a deep understanding of the sword Dao. For the first time, he revealed a grave expression. 5 elements Dao intent fist. After controlling the 7th heaven, sword Dao intent to destroy the giant true devil hands, Yi Qinfeng's feet flashed in the void and approached the man in the star robe. The terrifying 5 elements Dao intent surged out of his body like a surging tide. Because Yi Qinfeng intentionally concealed his strength, he only used the second level of the 5 elements Tao intent. When he blasted out a punch, the 5 elements Tao intent turned into a fistlight that was the size of a water tank. It dragged a gorgeous light tail and was incomparably domineering as it bombarded the man in the star robe with an insufferably arrogant attitude. Fifth heaven sword Tao slash. Feeling the suffocating feeling brought by the 5 elements Tao intent fist, the man in the star robe didn't shrink back. He wielded the 150,000-kilogram ancient pattern heavy sword and slashed with all his strength. Boom! 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 When the two attacks collided, there was an earth-shattering explosion that caused the air in the martial arena to surge violently. Just as the man in the star robe relied on the destructive power of the ancient pattern heavy sword to block the 5 elements Tao intent fist, Yi Qinfeng blasted out another 5 elements giant hand that descended from the sky and enveloped the man in the star robe. It ruthlessly suppressed his body. Black Snake Ruler. Unable to dodge, the man in the star robe spat out a black light. A black, snake-like ruler shot out of his mouth and collided with the 5 elements giant hand to block the suppression attack. Kero, is he from your falling star pavilion? The third commander asked with slight surprise as he looked at Yi Qinfeng, who had comprehended the 5 elements Tao intent and the 7th level sword Tao intent. It could be said that Yi Qinfeng's strength and talent had exceeded his imagination. No, he's not from my falling star pavilion. Kero shook her head and said, I don't know his true identity, but he's a great benefactor of my falling star pavilion. What? You can't help but use your heavenly treasure? Yi Qinfeng revealed a mocking smile as he looked at the black snake ruler that was hovering above the man in the star robe. He said, It's useless even if you use your heavenly treasure. You're definitely going to die today. Shameless boasting. The star-robed man flew into a rage out of humiliation and roared. He continuously channeled his soul power into the black serpent ruler and controlled it to transform into a giant black serpent. It opened its bloody mouth and revealed its long fangs as it bit towards Yi Qinfeng. Fist sword, break for me. Yi Qinfeng immediately activated the power of his 5 apertures as the black snake ruler attacked. He secretly raised the strength of his physical body to 15 million Jin and fused the 7th level sword Tao intent to meet the attack head-on. Kacha! The transformed black snake couldn't withstand the fist sword's attack and shattered. The fist sword's power didn't decrease in the slightest as it fiercely bombarded the black snake ruler. The surging power and sword Tao intent surged into the black snake ruler and forcibly cracked it. What? How can his fist be so hard? It actually cracked the black snake ruler. The man in the star robe's eyes almost popped out of their sockets when he saw the cracks on the surface of the black snake ruler. His heart was beating wildly as he revealed a shocked expression. What other tricks do you have? Use them all. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't have a chance. After cracking the black snake ruler with a single punch, Yi Qinfeng roared madly. A light flashed under his feet as he approached the man in the star robe once again. He waved his invincible arms like a savage beast and madly attacked the man in the star robe. True devil heaven technique, true devil sword. After his attacks were suppressed by Yi Qinfeng, the man in the star robe also started to fight with all his might. The power of his bloodline was completely ignited as he circulated the true devil heaven technique to the extreme. He continuously slashed the true devil sword at Yi Qinfeng. However, Yi Qinfeng's strength was far superior to his. Coupled with his indestructible body, the man in the star robe couldn't hurt him at all. As Yi Qinfeng continued to control the 5 elements Tao intent to attack, the 5 elements giant hands slammed down and bombarded the man in the star robe. The terrifying Tao intent shook the man in the star robe and forced him to retreat continuously. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. Sword Tao intent slash. When the ancient pattern-heavy sword in the hands of the man in the star robe was blasted away by the 5 elements Tao intent, 70 sword Tao patterns gushed out from Yi Qinfeng's body and transformed into a shocking sword. It slashed towards the man in the star robe with boundless killing intent. The sword pierced through everything and left a deep sword mark in the chaotic space. TSK. The man in the star robe's body was penetrated by the 70 sword Tao patterns. A large amount of blood flowed out from his body. His body went limp and swayed as he fell to the ground. It's over. You can go to hell now. Yi Qinfeng didn't show any mercy. The extremely sharp sword Tao pattern slashed out once again. He wanted to kill the man in the star robe in one go and end the battle. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared and penetrated the restriction that enveloped the martial arena at an astonishing speed. It appeared in front of the man in the star robe and helped him block Yi Qinfeng's sure-kill attack. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 845. Who are you? Yi Qinfeng narrowed his eyes and questioned with a gloomy expression as he watched the black-clothed elder tear apart the sword Tao pattern and pull the star-robed man back from the brink of death. Junior, where it's possible to let people off, one should spare them. You've already won. So take your points and leave. The elder, who was wearing a loose black robe, his face was filled with wrinkles, and his eyes were cloudy. I will leave after killing him. Although the black-clothed elder was very strong and had reached the level of a Class 3 combat beast emperor, Yi Qinfeng wasn't afraid at all and insisted. Elder Ji, kill him for me. I want to tear him into pieces. The star-robed man spat out a mouthful of blood and got up from the ground. He looked at Yi Qinfeng with hatred, who brought him endless humiliation and almost killed him. Coward, where is your domineering attitude just now? Didn't we say that we would fight to the death? Why are you asking for help now? If I were you, I would have killed myself long ago so that I wouldn't embarrass myself, Yi Qinfeng mocked loudly. You, why? Did I say something wrong again? Yi Qinfeng looked at the star-robed man whose face was flushed red and his body was trembling. He said, We found someone to be a witness. Are you going back on your words? I will give you another 1,000,000 points, and we will forget about today's bet. The black-clothed elder tried his best to control his emotions and said coldly, I will give you 2,000,000 points. Scram back to where you came from and don't meddle in other people's business. Yi Qinfeng snorted and said overbearingly, Also, no one can save him. He will definitely die today. How dare you? The black-clothed elder was completely infuriated by Yi Qinfeng. A terrifying, murderous aura burst out from his body and caused his black robe to flutter in the wind. In the next moment, the black-clothed elder emitted boundless murderous aura that turned into a sharp blade that could take away lives. It cut through the air and slashed towards Yi Qinfeng with astonishing power. Lightning flash! Just as Yi Qinfeng was about to be struck by the blade filled with boundless killing intent, rays of illusory light appeared beneath his feet. He transformed into a bolt of lightning, dodging the deadly sharp blade and flying towards the black-clothed old man. When he got close to the black-robed elder, 70 sword Tao inscriptions shot out like a boundless rain of swords and attacked him. They forcefully interrupted his attack and appeared in front of the star-robed man, who turned pale with fright. As I said, no one can save you. Go to hell obediently. Yi Qinfeng looked at the star-robed man, whose pupils were dilated and his face was filled with fear. He condensed a sky devil rope and bound the man's body. Stop! The black-robed old man's heart tightened when he saw that the man in star robes was in danger. He roared angrily as he tried his best to stop him. Yi Qinfeng didn't care about the black-robed elder's angry roar. The sword Tao pattern that was condensed to the extreme shot out and broke through the star-robed man's body defense. It penetrated his head and killed him on the spot. You. How dare you? Do you know who he is? The black-robed elder's mind went blank when he saw the star-robed man's head explode and die on the spot. Immediately after, billowing killing intent was released from his body. He was like a furious lion, roaring angrily. I have no interest in knowing who he is. I only know that this is a life and death bet. If he loses, he will die. Yi Qinfeng replied domineeringly, You are courting death. The black-robed elder was enraged when he thought of the death of the star-robed man. He had to capture Yi Qinfeng and hand him over to the true demon's tribe. Only then would he have a chance to live. Otherwise, if the star-robed man's grandfather, the second elder of the true demon's tribe, knew that he didn't protect him well enough and allowed his grandson to die miserably in Xingluo Sky City, he would definitely be killed to vent his anger. This person is too daring. If I'm not wrong, that black-robed elder is probably a level 3 combat beast emperor. That star-robed man's identity isn't simple either. Even the senior commander doesn't want to offend him. The third commander shook his head and said, If you kill him, your friend will be finished. Then what should we do? Isn't Big Brother Feng Chen in danger? Xing Manyu and her sister said nervously, Third commander, can you stop them? Sigh, that elder is much stronger than me. I can't do anything when he is enraged. The third commander, who had a good relationship with the Falling Star Pavilion, sighed softly. As the few of them were talking, the furious black-robed elder made his move. A pseudo-Dao artifact death scythe appeared in his hand. It formed a crescent-shaped blade shadow in midair and slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. As the death Dao will of the scythe slashed towards him, Yi Qinfeng's palm sucked in and pulled the 300,000 gene ancient rune heavy sword, which was left behind by the star-robed man. He unleashed a shocking force and held the heavy sword to meet the attack. Bang! The two's attacks collided. The 15 million gene force of the ancient rune heavy sword directly broke through the death scythe and slashed towards the black-robed elder, whose expression changed slightly. The two of them engaged in an intense battle. The black-robed elder was very powerful. His terrifying attack was close to that of a level 4 combat beast emperor. On the other hand, Yi Qinfeng had intentionally hidden his strength. He had no choice but to use his speed advantage to the extreme. Relying on his shocking speed, he engaged in an intense battle with the black-robed elder. Boom! 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 Thunderous sounds exploded in the battle arena, causing it to tremble unceasingly. Surging Dao wills madly clashed and surged out in all directions. Such powerful battle strength. Could it be that Feng Qin didn't use his full strength in the battle just now? Is this his true strength? Seeing that Yi Qinfeng was not at a disadvantage in the battle with the black-robed elder, the third commander's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. He was shocked by Yi Qinfeng's shocking battle strength. Unable to suppress Yi Qinfeng's attacks, the black-robed elder also revealed a shocked expression. However, he had no way out. If he couldn't capture Yi Qinfeng alive, then he would have to bear the fury of the second elder of the true demon race alone. True demon heaven arts. The black-robed elder took a deep breath as he circulated the true demon heaven arts at an extreme speed. He formed numerous true demon hands and pressed towards Yi Qinfeng with boundless destruction. His strength was far superior to the star-robed man. The power of the true demon hands formed by him had reached an extremely terrifying level. They slammed down in the void, forming a suffocating power that caused the space to distort. 5 elements Dao Intent Fist. Facing the attacks of the true demon hands, Yi Qinfeng didn't retreat. He constantly controlled the 5 elements Dao Intent to resist. For a moment, the entire space was in chaos. The powerful Dao Intent shook the restrictions around the battle arena violently, causing fine cracks to appear. 10 layers of heaven kill. Just as Yi Qinfeng was relying on the terrifying might of the Tao intent of the 5 elements to defend against the true devil's giant hand, the black-robed old man continued to attack. He held the scythe of the god of death in his hand and slashed out 10 layers of saber lights that slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. Bang! The 10 layers of heaven kill slashed onto the ancient rune-heavy sword above Yi Qinfeng's head. The powerful attack caused Yi Qinfeng to continuously retreat. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. However, this trace of blood wasn't caused by an injury. It was purposely forced out by Yi Qinfeng. After all, if his performance was too heaven-defying, it would be easy to connect him to the sword god on the 90 zhang celestial wall. Then, not only would he not be able to gain experience in Xingluo Heaven City, but he would also be pursued endlessly. Moreover, he worked hard to create the illusion of being injured, which also played a role in confusing the black-robed elder. Not good. Feng Chen is injured. Seeing Yi Qinfeng with blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth, Xing Keru and the others' hearts were in suspense. Their delicate faces were filled with worry, afraid that a tragic scene would occur. It's over. Surrender. When the black-robed elder saw that Yi Qinfeng was injured, he revealed an arrogant smile. He held the death god scythe in his hand and slashed again. He wanted to heavily injure and suppress Yi Qinfeng while he was injured. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 846. Boom! Another thunderous sound rang out from the stage. Yi Qinfeng's ancient rune-heavy sword clashed with the death scythe, creating a boundless shockwave. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. Yi Qinfeng, who was continuously retreating, forced out a few more mouthfuls of blood. He spat it into the air and retreated to the edge of the stage. The 3rd commander looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was vomiting blood, and sighed softly. He shook his head and said, "Sigh, it's too late. That Feng Qin is powerless to reverse the situation. What a pity for his talent. Vice Pavilion Master, we must save Brother Feng Qin. He cannot die." Xing Manyu and her sister were so scared that their faces turned pale. They begged bitterly, "Save him? How can we save him?" Xing Keru's heart was filled with bitterness. With their strength, they could only be cannon fodder. They would be killed by the black-clothed old man with a wave of his hand. They could not pull Yi Qinfeng back from the brink of death. "3rd Commander, I wonder if you can help. As long as you help, I can agree to any of your conditions." Xing Keru bit her lips and looked at the 3rd commander, who once had improper thoughts about her, and begged. Seeing Xing Keru's helpless eyes, the 3rd commander's heart wavered. However, no matter how beautiful a woman was, it could not be compared to life. The 3rd commander sighed softly and rejected her. "Brat, obediently surrender." The black-clothed old man looked at the exhausted Yi Qinfeng and roared. He continued to slash at him with his death scythe, worsening his injuries. At this moment, the pale-faced Yi Qinfeng's body swayed slightly. He stepped on lightning flash, and like a winding lightning bolt, he dodged the fatal attack of the death scythe. "Old man, I will definitely kill you today." A black pill appeared in Yi Qinfeng's hand. Under everyone's gaze, he threw it into his mouth. Following that, Yi Qinfeng's soul power rose steadily. Soon, he reached the rank of a rank 2 beast emperor. What kind of pill is that? It actually increased his strength to such a degree. The 3rd commander's eyes widened in shock when he sensed that Yi Qinfeng's soul force had increased several dozen times over. As for the despairing Xing Keru and the others, they revealed looks of pleasant surprise and excitement. But what they didn't know was that Yi Qinfeng had just taken an ordinary pill. His goal was to create an illusion and reveal his true strength. Medicinal pill. Do you think a medicinal pill can save you? The black-clothed old man grunted coldly as he exerted the death Dao insight to the limit, and he continued to attack Yi Chen Feng with the scythe of death in hand. The surging death energy completely engulfed Yi Chen Feng, destroying his body. However, Yi Chen Feng's body was comparable to a low-grade Dao artifact. The black-robed old man's death energy couldn't harm him at all. Amidst the death storm, Yi Chen Feng slashed forward with his ancient rune heavy sword. With the help of this terrifying heavy weapon, he forcefully deflected the death scythe's fatal attack. Illusory shark water shadow. Yi Chen Feng punched out with his left fist. The surging Dao insight and soul force transformed into a shark that was close to 10 meters long. It swayed its huge body in the void as it tore through the air and charged towards the black-robed old man whose expression changed slightly. "Break for me." The black-robed old man held the scythe of death tightly with both hands and slashed fiercely at the illusory shark water shadow, causing the terrifying giant shark to explode. However, the terrifying Dao insight that erupted from the illusory shark water shadow caused his blood to surge. Just as the black-robed old man was suppressing the surging blood in his body, Yi Chen Feng suddenly closed in on him. With the ancient rune heavy sword in his hand, he fiercely slashed at his body. Yi Chen Feng raised his physical strength to 15 million kilograms. He brandished the 150,000 kilogram ancient rune heavy sword and formed a terrifying attack power. He slashed at the black-robed old man's scythe of death in front of him, causing him to retreat repeatedly. The tide-like rebounding force surged into his arm, causing his skin and flesh to split open. A large amount of blood flowed out uncontrollably. He is injured. That black-robed old man is injured. Looking at the black-robed old man who was injured by Yi Chen Feng and was retreating repeatedly, the third commander and the others widened their eyes. What elixir is that? It actually has such heaven-defying power and forcefully raised his strength to such an extent. 10 heavens slash. The black-robed old man disregarded the injuries on his arms and held the scythe of death tightly with both hands. He slashed out 10 layers of killing light, which overlapped and slashed at Yi Chen Feng. Sword of Flying Immortal. Yi Chen Feng didn't dodge. The 5 Dao intents and the sword Dao pattern fused into the ancient rune heavy sword. A sword light that seemed to come from beyond the heavens tore apart the spatial zone. It was like a winding spatial crack and heavily clashed with the 10 heavens slash. Kachacha! When the two great Dao skills clashed together, the energy burst out like a volcanic eruption in the spatial zone. It released a frenzied and powerful destructive force, destroying everything in the surroundings. After receiving the impact, cracks appeared on the sturdy martial art stage. The sturdy spatial restriction even had fragmented cracks that could shatter at any moment. Sword Dao pattern break. Relying on his powerful physical body to withstand the destructive impact that could topple mountains and overturn seas, Yi Chen Feng interweaved 70 sword Dao patterns and tore apart the destructive storm. He closed in on the black-robed old man who had a slight change of expression and was injured. Each sword attack was stronger than the previous one. The black-robed old man's injuries worsened and sent him flying out of the destructive storm. Big sister, Big brother Feng Qin has turned the tables around. He is going to win. Big brother Feng Qin is the strongest. Xing Manyu and her sister witnessed the black-robed old man being sent flying by Yi Chen Feng. They were so excited that they couldn't say anything. Their anxious hearts finally settled down. Beast soul form. After seeing Yi Chen Feng's explosive increase in strength, the severely injured black-robed old man quickly burned his bloodline power and transformed into the strongest beast soul form, wanting to turn the tables around. It is too late to transform now. Looking at the black-robed old man who had transformed into the beast soul form, Yi Chen Feng didn't slow down his attacks and continued attacking. Sword Dao intent and 5 elemental Dao intent were intertwined. 15 million pounds of force was constantly exploding and ruthlessly bombarding the black-robed old man's body. Crack! Following a chilling cracking sound, the black-robed old man's arms were forcefully broken by Yi Qinfeng's continuous attacks. The white bone stubble pierced through the skin and was exposed to the air. Qi and blood combustion, true devil sky strike. With his life hanging by a thread, the black-robed old man went all out. He burned all the qi and blood in his body and turned into a scarlet red devil shadow with devil horns and bat blood wings on his back. He launched a fatal attack at Yi Qinfeng. 7 Swords of Judgment, sky shattering. Yi Qinfeng instantly fused with the ancient pattern heavy sword and turned into the sky-shattering sword. When the sword slashed out, the void cracked. The boundless, destructive power shattered the void. It was like a constantly extending spatial crack that welcomed the true devil sky strike. Boom! 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 When the 2 Dao skills clashed, the devil shadow was broken. The explosive, destructive power instantly shattered the spatial restriction in the surroundings and shattered the restrictions that were activated continuously. Sword steps. Just as the space above the martial arts arena was in chaos and gray, Yi Qinfeng relied on his powerful physical body to withstand the destructive impact. He used the sword steps and appeared in front of the black-robed old man who was severely injured. He intertwined 80 sword Dao patterns and attacked the old man. Sword steps. How do you know the sword steps? The black-robed old man's pupils contracted as he revealed a look of disbelief. However, before he could finish his sentence, Yi Qinfeng pushed his sword Dao to the extreme and penetrated his body with 80 sword Dao patterns, causing him to lose his combat strength. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng pressed one hand on the old man's head. He wanted to borrow the power of the God-Eater brain and search his soul. Bang! The power of the God-Eater brain touched the restriction in the black-robed old man's soul sea. His head suddenly exploded. After the star-robed man, the black-robed old man, who was a Class 3 combat beast emperor, had died. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 847. Let's go back. After killing the black-robed old man, Yi Qinfeng took their belongings. He did his best to appear extremely weak as he flew over to Xing Keru and the others. Big brother Fengchen, are you all right? Seeing Yi Qinfeng's pale face and the blood flowing from the corner of his mouth, Xing Manyu and her sister immediately went forward to support him as they asked anxiously, "What are you doing?" "I'm fine. The medicinal effect is starting to fade. My body is a bit exhausted. I'll be fine after some rest." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and squeezed out a smile. "Let's go back to the Falling Star Pavilion." Xing Keru was afraid that something unexpected would happen, so she immediately brought Yi Qinfeng back to the Falling Star Pavilion to heal. Activate the formation runes. After the third commander and the others left, Xing Keru immediately ordered people to activate the formation runes, sealing off the entire Falling Star Pavilion to defend against the enemy. Fengchen, don't worry about healing. I'll do my best to not let anyone disturb your recovery. Although Xing Keru had learned from the third commander that the star-robed man Yi Qinfeng had killed was not simple and that they would most likely face revenge, in order to repay Yi Qinfeng, Xing Keru and the others didn't leave the Falling Star Pavilion that night. Vice Pavilion Master, I suggest that you quickly leave Xingluo Heavenly City to avoid any accidents. Yi Qinfeng didn't go to heal himself. Instead, he advised Xing Keru and the others to leave. Don't worry, Fengchen. Tomorrow I'll use all my connections to resolve this matter, said Xing Keru. Vice Pavilion Master, this matter isn't as simple as you think. The two people I killed had extraordinary identities. Their deaths might alarm the upper echelons of Xingluo Heavenly City, and even the city Lord Sha Bingyin, said Yi Qinfeng solemnly. That can't be. Xing Keru's expression changed slightly. Feng Qin, just which faction are they from? Deputy Pavilion Master, it's not convenient for me to reveal their identities. I can only tell you that if you don't want anything to happen to the Falling Star Pavilion, tonight is the best time to leave. If you miss tonight, I'm afraid you won't be able to leave. At that time, I won't be able to save you. Yi Qinfeng said solemnly. All right, then let's leave Xingluo Sky City tonight. Looking at Yi Qinfeng's grave expression and recalling the third commander's warning before he left, Xing Keru felt the severity of the situation. In the end, she decided to leave Xingluo Sky City with the experts of the Falling Star Pavilion. Big Brother Feng Qin, since Xingluo Sky City is so dangerous, why don't you leave with us? Xing Manyu said softly. I will escort you out of here. When you are safe, I will come back, Yi Qinfeng said. Big Brother Feng Qin, if things are really as dangerous as you say, your life might be in danger if you return. Xing Man, you said worriedly. Don't worry, since I dared to come back, I am naturally not afraid of revenge. Yi Qinfeng said confidently, all right, let's not waste any more time. Quickly prepare to leave. Before dawn, you must leave Xingluo Sky City. Feng Qin, here are 35 million points. I will give them all to you. If you have time in the future, you must come to my Falling Star Pavilion so that we can repay your kindness. Xing Keru gave the points she had accumulated over the years to Yi Qinfeng. Many thanks. Yi Qinfeng did not stand on ceremony with Xing Keru and accepted the points. About half an hour later, more than 40 experts of the Falling Star Pavilion left Xingluo Sky City under the escort of Yi Qinfeng. Grand Elder, we have just received news that the people of the Falling Star Pavilion have left Xingluo Sky City. The person who killed Lin Qisher and Elder Ji should have left with them. The people of the Falling Star Pavilion had just left Xingluo Sky City through the teleportation circle when the news reached the ears of Sha Renjie, the Grand Elder of Xingluo Sky City. Ran away. Their reaction is not slow at all. They know that they have stirred up trouble and want to escape. Sha Renjie's eyes flashed with a sharp glint, inform the blood demon envoy of their whereabouts, then send out 2 Black Shadow assassins to intercept them. The Black Shadow assassins were the top assassins in Xingluo Sky City, second only to the Dark Shadow assassins. There were a total of 6 of them. Each of them was a level 4 Beast Emperor and specialized in assassination. The 6 of them could threaten the life of a level 5 Beast Emperor. Remember, you must bring back that audacious brat alive. I want to see if he has eaten a bear's heart or a leopard's guts to dare to kill anyone. As for the people of the Falling Star Pavilion, if they resist, kill them all. Sha Renjie's eyes flashed with a cold glint as he sentenced the people of the Falling Star Pavilion to death. Yes, Grand Elder, I will do it right away, the experts of Xingluo Sky City replied. Early in the morning, a red sun slowly rose from the east, waking up the gloomy black wind prairie. Brother Feng Qin, we should be safe now, right? Looking at the red sun in the distance, Xing Manyu, who had been escaping for an entire night, slowly approached the edge of the black wind prairie. Beads of sweat appeared on her forehead as she let out a long sigh of relief. No, danger is approaching. Don't rest. Let's continue our journey. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and urged loudly. Yi Qinfeng had already seen through the identities of the 2 men in star robes, since he had killed them in front of everyone, no matter if it was the True Demon Clan or Xingluo Sky City. They would not let him and the Falling Star Pavilion off. So. Just as Yi Qinfeng and his group continued their journey, 2 ear-piercing sounds suddenly rang out from afar. 2 Black Shadow assassins, like flying swords, cut through the gentle morning light and caught up with them at an extremely fast speed, intercepting them. If you don't want to die, come back with us obediently. Otherwise, we will kill you without mercy." The Black Shadow assassin, who was wearing a black tight-fitting martial arts suit and a ghost mask, looked at Shinkaru and the others expressionlessly and ordered without allowing any resistance. "You are the Black Shadow assassins." Shinkaru, who had lived in Xingluo Sky City for close to 100 years, had heard of the Black Shadow assassins and knew how terrifying they were. Looking at the two ghost-masked men, Shinkaru immediately guessed their identities and revealed a terrified expression. "I will count to 3. Whoever doesn't give up resisting, I will kill him." The Black Shadow assassins looked at Shinkaru and the others coldly and ruthlessly as they spoke. "You talk big, but I'm afraid you are not strong enough." Yi Chenfeng, who was in the crowd, had a cold glint in his eyes. He flew out like a bolt of lightning. With a stomp of his foot, a sword array suddenly appeared, and 100 swords shot out simultaneously. The densely packed sword Dao patterns attacked the two Black Shadow assassins like a rain of swords, forcing them to retreat. "Leave the two of them to me. You guys leave this place quickly." After forcing the two Black Shadow assassins back with a single step, Yi Chenfeng shouted at Shinkaru and the others. "You want to leave? Not so easy." The two Black Shadow assassins had fused with their respective spirit beasts, and their strength was rising steadily. They wanted to use their unpredictable assassination techniques to kill Shinkaru and the others and capture Yi Chenfeng alive. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon roar that could pierce through clouds and shatter rocks echoed from Yi Chenfeng's body. In the next moment, an unforgettable scene appeared before Shinkaru and the others. The Blood Dragon Emperor, which was as red as blood, emerged from Yi Chenfeng's body and hovered in the void. It exuded an intimidating dragon's aura and roared at the two Black Shadow assassins. "What are you guys still standing there for? Leave this place quickly." Yi Chenfeng shouted at Shinkaru and the others, who were dumbstruck. "Fengchen, take care." Shinkaru and the others, who had regained their senses, took a deep look at Yi Chenfeng and quickly flew out of the black wind grassland. After being intimidated by the Blood Dragon Emperor's dragon's aura, the two Black Shadow assassins felt like they would be torn apart at any moment. They stared at Yi Chenfeng and didn't dare to act rashly. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 848. Shadowless Escape Kill. The moment Yi Chenfeng fused with the Blood Dragon Emperor, the eyes of the two assassins burst out with thick, killing intent. They moved at the same time with great tacit understanding. They entered the attack trajectory and launched a sure-kill attack at Yi Chenfeng. The two of them had perfectly grasped the opportunity for this attack. Ordinary people would most likely be interrupted from fusing with their spiritual beasts. However, Yi Chenfeng's soul spirit was too powerful. When the two of them executed the shadowless escape kill, Yi Chenfeng's soul spirit had already captured it. He took a step forward and unleashed 100 swords. Streaks of extremely sharp sword Dao patterns attacked the two of them and slowed down their attack speed. In the next moment, Yi Chenfeng's dragon bloodline burned and instantly increased his soul power by 7 times. He punched out, and the violent power caused endless turbulence to appear in the void. He forcibly shattered the shadowless escape kill executed by the two of them. Feeling the power of Yi Chenfeng's punch, the two assassins' faces changed slightly. They discovered that the information they had was wrong. Yi Chenfeng was far more terrifying than they had imagined. However, the two of them, who had been dancing on the edge of life and death all year round, didn't retreat. They decisively burned their bloodline power and transformed into their strongest beast soul form. Large patches of black scales covered their entire bodies, and sharp thorns emerged from their bodies. After transforming into their beast soul form, the two of them became even more terrifying. Their entire bodies were weapons that could launch fatal attacks. Swish, swish, two ear-piercing sounds echoed. The two assassins once again fused into the attack trajectory. They moved faster than the speed of light and stabbed towards Yi Qinfeng one after another. When they approached Yi Qinfeng, two bamboo-like pseudo-Dao artifact black swords appeared in their hands. One sword stabbed towards Yi Qinfeng's head while the other stabbed towards his chest. Great Sun, Heavenly Fire Fist! Yi Qinfeng's gaze was like a bolt of lightning as it locked onto the two black, colored sword lights that pierced towards him. And then the energy of his 5 apertures completely erupted as the 5-element Dao Insight and Sky Black Flame fused into his right fist, causing a fist light that was like a red sun to illuminate the space as it forcefully shattered the sword lights that pierced towards his chest. Then Yi Qinfeng opened his mouth, and the vermilion bird cauldron flew out. It released endless flames and blocked the second assassination sword, neutralizing the attacks of the two of them. Grand Hand of Dao Intent. After breaking through their attacks, the Dao wills of the 5 Daos, the Dao wills of life and death, and the Dao wills of heaven and earth gushed out from Yi Qinfeng's body. They fused together and transformed into a giant hand that blotted out the sky. It carried an incomparable pressure as it pressed down on the two of them. Shadow speed. The two black shadow assassins didn't face the giant hand of Dao Intent head-on. Their entire bodies became blurry like two drifting shadows. They dodged the attack of the hand of Dao Intent and continued to attack Yi Qinfeng. Emperor Sky Sword. Yi Qinfeng didn't want to be entangled with them for too long. With a thought, the mid-grade Dao artifact, Emperor Sky Sword, appeared in his hand. The 8th tier of the sword Dao was fully unleashed, and like a long dragon, it shattered the attacks of the two. After their attacks were broken, the two black shadow assassins weren't discouraged. They pushed their speed to the extreme and were like two drifting shadows. They flashed and leaped, attacking Yi Qinfeng from all angles. For a moment, Yi Qinfeng's body was surrounded by crisscrossing sword shadows. Sword shadows that were like venomous snakes constantly attacked Yi Qinfeng. Shatter! Yi Qinfeng let out a cold yell as 15 million pounds of force and 4 major offensive Dao intents were fully unleashed. He activated the Emperor's Sky artifact spirit and slashed down ferociously, directly shattering the shadowless sword lights in front of him. Immediately after, he rapidly stepped out with his sword steps and appeared in front of one of the black shadow assassins as if he had teleported. The sword array intertwined with sword Dao patterns rapidly attacked and sealed off all the escape routes of the black shadow assassin, making it impossible for him to evade. Yi Qinfeng's iron fist arrived like the wind and smashed towards the black shadow assassin's chest. The terrifying strength caused the black shadow assassin's expression to change drastically. He quickly blocked the black sword in front of his chest and defended with all his might. Unfortunately, Yi Qinfeng's fist was too powerful. The black sword that the black shadow assassin used to block in front of him couldn't block this shocking fist attack of Yi Qinfeng's. The fist that was filled with 15 million pounds of force, 7-fold soul power, and Dao intent smashed into the black shadow assassin's chest, shattering the sharp thorns. The black shadow assassin's chest caved in, and his body was like a kite with a broken string. He was thrown dozens of meters away and fell to the ground with blood spurting out from his mouth. The moment Yi Qinfeng heavily injured the black shadow assassin, the other black shadow assassin seized the opportunity and blended into the attack trajectory. He thrust his sword towards Yi Qinfeng's head, wanting to pierce through his head and end his life. Wrath of God's punishment. How powerful was Yi Qinfeng's soul spirit! Every move of the two black shadow assassins was locked onto by his soul spirit. The wrath of God's punishment that was compressed to the extreme shot out and struck the black shadow assassin's swift strike. Immediately, Boundless energy leaked out and engulfed the Black Shadow assassin who couldn't dodge in time. When he relied on his absolute attack to tear apart the wrath of God's punishment, Yi Qinfeng executed the Sword of Annihilation. The terrifying sword intent caused the space in front of the Black Shadow assassin to shatter and shatter his continuous attacks. PFFF. After being struck by the Sword of Annihilation, the Black Shadow assassin felt as if he was struck by lightning. His body suddenly trembled, and a large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth as he fell to the other side. Both of them were heavily injured, but the two Black Shadow assassins didn't retreat. They didn't hesitate to burn their qi and blood to suppress the injuries on their bodies. They continued to attack Yi Qinfeng. Vermilion Bird Cauldron, suppress! The two Black Shadow assassins stabbed out one after the other. Yi Qinfeng awakened the soul of the Vermilion Bird and controlled the Vermilion Bird Cauldron to release a powerful suppressive force. It suppressed the void and forcefully slowed down the attack speed of the two Black Shadow assassins. Just as Yi Qinfeng was about to execute a thunderous attack to severely injure the two Black Shadow assassins and end the battle, the two Black Shadow assassins used their true trump card. Two black needles shot out from their mouths and pierced towards Yi Qinfeng's head. Heavenly Tao pattern break. At this critical moment, Yi Qinfeng didn't panic. The extremely powerful Heavenly Tao pattern flew out and struck the two black needles, causing them to explode. After the black needles were destroyed, a powerful soul suppressive force was emitted from the black needles. It was like a surging tide as it bombarded Yi Qinfeng's head. It caused his soul spirit to tremble, and his reaction speed was slightly delayed. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, the two Black Shadow assassins launched a sure-kill attack at Yi Qinfeng. The incomparably sharp assassination swords pierced towards Yi Qinfeng's head, wanting to kill him. Golden Body Art. After Yi Qinfeng regained his senses, he decisively executed the Golden Body Art. A large amount of defensive golden light covered his entire body, instantly increasing his defense by 50% and blocking the two assassination swords. Tisk tisk. The dazzling golden defensive golden light was pierced through by the two Black Shadow assassins' sure-kill attack. The two swords pierced towards Yi Qinfeng's head like a hot knife through butter. However, after executing the Golden Body Art, Yi Qinfeng's defense was close to a mid-grade Tao artifact. When the sharp black swords pierced Yi Qinfeng's head, it felt like they were piercing on black iron and couldn't pierce through it at all. After the assassination failed, the two Black Shadow assassins sensed a dense, dangerous aura and instinctively wanted to dodge. However, Yi Qinfeng's attack speed was faster. The four fused Tao intents turned into a square cauldron, intertwined with Tao patterns and pressed down ferociously. It ruthlessly bombarded their bodies, causing them to fall to the ground and aggravating their injuries. Just as Yi Qinfeng was heavily injuring the two Black Shadow assassins, his powerful soul spirit sensed a familiar aura approaching. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly and revealed a cold smile. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 849. Sky Demon Devil Ropes Bind. Yi Qinfeng had the intention of controlling Xingluo Sky City. Hence, he did not kill the two assassins. Instead, he formed two Sky Demon Devil Ropes and bound their bodies. Then, he controlled the Suzuku Cauldron to suppress them. Just as Yi Qinfeng suppressed the two Black Shadow assassins, a man wearing a blood-red robe and transforming into countless blood shadows rushed towards him at an extremely fast speed. This blood-red robed man was none other than the Grade 5 Combat Beast Emperor, the Blood Demon Envoy, who had fought with Yi Qinfeng at the Jasper Palace and almost died there. I never thought that even the two assassins of Xingluo Sky City would die in your hands. You have really impressed me. The blood demon envoy looked at the two assassins suppressed by the Suzaku cauldron with a surprised expression and said coldly, I didn't think that the true demon clan would send you to kill us. Should I feel honored? Yi Qinfeng looked at the blood demon envoy with a sharp gaze. He was neither happy nor sad. As soon as Yi Qinfeng finished speaking, the blood demon envoy's eyes shot out a murderous intent. He looked at Yi Qinfeng with a terrifying gaze. He never thought that Yi Qinfeng would know his identity. Blood demon envoy, are you surprised that I know your identity? Looking at the blood demon envoy's increasingly ferocious face, Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly and asked, You are really surprising me more and more. Looks like I have to capture you today. The blood demon envoy said with a murderous intent. Haha, blood demon envoy, could it be that you still haven't recognized who I am? Yi Qinfeng laughed loudly as he controlled the illusory Tao intent to restore his true appearance. Why are you here? Looking at Yi Qinfeng's familiar face, the blood demon envoy's eyes widened in surprise. He had never thought that he would meet Yi Qinfeng here. What was even more unexpected was that Yi Qinfeng would be so bold as to not only sneak into Xingluo Sky City, but also dare to stir up trouble. While he was still in shock, Yi Qinfeng used his sword steps and tore through the air, suddenly launching an attack at him. Because the blood demon envoy was greatly shaken, his reaction was slightly delayed. As a result, Yi Qinfeng immediately suppressed his attacks with his sword steps. Blood demon's sword, break! After blood demon envoy regained his senses, he quickly took out his low-grade Tao artifact, blood demon sword. He quickly slashed and tore apart the sword Tao pattern's attack. Xian Ming Extreme Tao. When the emissary of blood demon's sword steps were broken through by his absolute attack, countless will of the great path gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body, transforming into a long river of Xianji power that bombarded the emissary of blood demon, colliding with the emissary of blood demon's sword. Boom, boom, boom. Several wills of the great path exploded. The terrifying power was like a surging tide, bombarding his body and forcibly pushing him back dozens of meters. 7 swords of judgment. Emperor Heavenly Sword Art. Yi Qinfeng did not give him any chance to take a breather. He unleashed the power of the sword Tao to the extreme and repeatedly used powerful Tao techniques to attack, suppressing the emissary of blood demon's attacks. The resplendent and glaring radiance was like the sun illuminating the heavens and earth. The strength of the sword radiance made the morning sky even brighter. Dozens of sword scars traversed the void and continuously slashed at the emissary of blood demon's body. Bloodline ignition, beast soul form. His attacks were constantly being suppressed. The emissary of blood demon, who was at an absolute disadvantage, did not hesitate to ignite his bloodline power and transform into a powerful beast soul form. He wanted to turn the situation around. Blood conquering the world. 80 streaks of blood, Tao patterns, gushed out of his body. The emissary of blood Tao intent was unleashed to the extreme and used his strongest Tao technique. He tore apart the 7 swords of judgment and the Emperor Heavenly Sword Art, shaking off Yi Qinfeng's attacks. Dragon Heart Fusion. True Dragon Transformation. Streaks of bloody shadows tore apart the 7 swords of judgment and attacked. Yi Qinfeng transformed into his beast soul form and fused with the power of the dragon heart. He activated the strongest dragon bloodline and instantly transformed into a true dragon that roamed the universe. He was fused with numerous Tao intents and shattered the blood conquering the world from the emissary of blood conquering the world. He then blasted towards the emissary of blood conquering the world, whose expression changed greatly. Boom! The true dragon that Yi Qinfeng transformed into clashed with the blood saber that the emissary of blood demon had slashed down. There was a piercing sound that was deafening. The powerful collision force spread out in the air and caused the space within a 1-mile radius to distort. Long dragon-like cracks continued to extend across the black-wind grassland. Relying on his strong defense to withstand the impact of the collision, Yi Qianfeng roared towards the sky and tore apart the destructive force that was rushing towards him. He was like an invincible god of war. His hair danced in the wind as he sped through the terrifying energy. He then approached the emissary of Blood Conqueror, who was spitting out blood and was severely injured. 8 killing halos condensed, and 15 million pounds of force exploded. Yi Qianfeng held the Emperor Heavenly Sword in one hand and the 150,000-pound ancient pattern heavy sword in the other. He swung them rapidly and slashed at the severely injured emissary of Blood Conqueror. Bang! 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 As the swords came crashing down, the emissary of Blood Conqueror felt as though he was being smashed by mountains. The blood in his body was rumbling as he was forced to retreat. Blood was spurting out from his mouth. With the emissary of Blood Conqueror's strength, he shouldn't have been suppressed so thoroughly by Yi Qianfeng. However, Yi Qianfeng's physical body was too heaven-defying, and the 3 fused Tao intents were extremely powerful. They were constantly restraining him and putting him in danger. Blood, Skull, Doppelganger. As his injuries worsened, the emissary of Blood Skull summoned his greatest trump card, a blood-red skull, Doppelganger. On the skull of this Blood Skull Doppelganger, there was a pseudo-Tao treasure, the Crescent Moonstone, that was providing him with boundless energy support. Kill! The emissary of Blood Conqueror, who was covered in blood, roared and gave the Blood Skull Doppelganger a sure kill order. He ordered him to attack Yi Qianfeng with all his might. Sword puppet! Before the blood-red light and the murderous Blood Skull Doppelganger could get close, the sword puppet suddenly appeared. It held 2 low-grade Tao swords and slashed out 2 crescent-shaped sword arcs. The sword slashed at the Blood Skull Doppelganger and forced him to retreat. He couldn't get close to Yi Qianfeng. Emissary of Blood Conqueror, if you don't have any other means, you can go to hell now. As he spoke, several Tao intents in Yi Qianfeng's body went berserk. They fused together with the surging soul power and the power of slaughter. They evolved into a heavenly seal that was intertwined with Tao intents and suppressed the emissary of Blood Conqueror. Blood conquering the world. The emissary of Blood Conqueror took a deep breath and used his killer move to counter the attack. He relied on his absolute strength to tear apart the Tao pattern heavenly seal. Swish! An ear-piercing sound pierced through the air. Yi Qianfeng suddenly thrust out his sword and pierced it towards the emissary of Blood Conqueror's chest. Although this strike seemed ordinary, it was Yi Qianfeng's real killer move. After several attempts, Yi Qianfeng finally fused the sword soul into the Ascendant Sky Sword. TSK. The emissary of Blood Conqueror couldn't dodge in time and was struck by the Ascendant Sky Sword. The astonishing sword soul broke through his body's defense and penetrated his chest. Ah! The emissary of Blood Conqueror let out a heart-wrenching scream. All the meridians in his body were shattered by the terrifying sword soul. He fell heavily to the ground. Just as he was about to endure the heavy injuries on his body and escape, his vision turned dark as a large foot stepped on his face. The powerful force directly stomped his head into the ground. A large amount of blood flowed out from his 7 orifices, and he almost fainted. Chaos Divine would suppress. With a thought, Yi Qianfeng summoned the Chaos Divine wood and suppressed the emissary of Blood Conqueror. Following which, Yi Qianfeng used the power of the God-Eater brain to forcefully search the emissary of Blood Conqueror's soul to obtain his precious soul memories. Bam! When the power of the God-Eater brain seeped into the emissary of Blood Conqueror's soul sea, his head suddenly exploded. Sigh! Everyone from the True Demon's race has a restriction in their soul sea. Yi Qianfeng sighed softly and kept the emissary of Blood Conqueror's belongings. He released the black flames and burned his corpse to ashes, following which Yi Qianfeng kept the 2 immobilized assassins suppressed by the Suzaku Cauldron into the Qinkuan realm to suppress them. Mobile reading website book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blogs, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 850. Xingluo Heavenly City in an Ancient Palace. What? The Blood Demon Envoy and the two assassins disappeared? Sha Renja, who was sitting cross-legged in a dark corner and cultivating with his eyes closed, suddenly had his communication bead vibrate. When he heard the message from the communication bead, he immediately opened his eyes and revealed a shocked expression. We found traces of an intense battle at the edge of the Black Wind Prairie. It seems that there were two assassins and the Blood Demon Envoy. We can't contact the two assassins, and the True Demon Tribe can't contact the Blood Demon Envoy either. We guess that something happened to them. The expert in Xingluo Heavenly City sent a message. Something happened. Falling Star Pavilion has such strength? Or is there an expert helping them in the dark? Sha Renja's brows were tightly knitted together as he felt the severity of the situation. After pondering for a while, Sha Renja hurriedly left the secret cultivation room and found City Lord Sha Bingyan. He told her what had just happened. Sha Bingyan was shocked when she found out that Blood Demon Emissary and the other two assassins were missing. She immediately sent out a king of assassins and 4 assassins to the Blackwind grassland to search for Blood Demon Emissary and the other 2 assassins. Just as Xingluo Heavenly City became jittery and heavily guarded, Yi Chenfeng, who had killed the Blood Demon Envoy and suppressed the 2 assassins, controlled the illusion Dao intent to change his appearance. He secretly returned to Xingluo Heavenly City and arrived at the Triple Lightning Dominion. The Peach Blossom House was located in an extremely beautiful peach blossom garden in the Triple Lightning Dominion. The scenery was picturesque and it was spring all year round. It was a cultivation place that the experts of the Triple Lightning Dominion liked to rent. Yi Chenfeng rented a secluded room in the Peach Blossom House. He activated the restriction and took out everything he had obtained in the past 2 days. Low-grade Dao artifact, Blood Demon Sword, Pseudo-Dao artifact, Blood Skull Doppelganger, Pseudo-Dao artifact, Ancient Rune Heavy Sword, Death Scythe, 11 Pseudo-Dao cores, and more than 80,000 Supreme-grade Soul Crystals. This is Heavenly Soul Water, the Heavenly Soul Water used to refine the ultimate Emperor Dao pill. At the end of the inspection, Yi Chenfeng found 2 jade bottles among the Blood Demon Envoy's belongings. One of the bottles contained one of the main ingredients for refining the Extreme Emperor Dao pill, Heavenly Soul Water. The other bottle contained a milky white spirit liquid that contained powerful spirituality. Heavenly Reversal Water. This is Heavenly Reversal Water. Yi Chenfeng controlled the God-engulfing brain to analyze the white liquid and discovered that it contained the Heavenly Fate Water, which had the same effect as the Heavenly Fate Water. After drinking it, one could instantly recover expended soul power and was extremely precious. In addition to these treasures, Yi Chenfeng had also obtained 18 million points from the others. In addition to the points that Xing Keru had given him and the points that he had earned himself, Yi Chenfeng now possessed 67 million points. This was enough for him to enter the illusory star field. However, Yi Chenfeng was not in a hurry to enter the star field because he was only a bronze star cultivator. Even if he entered the star field, he would not be able to enjoy the unique cultivation resources of the star field. He was preparing to achieve 100 victories in the Triple Thunder Dominion and become a Diamond Star cultivator. Then he would enter the star field and challenge the Thunder Tribulation. He would temper himself and break through to the 3rd grade Beast Emperor realm. After resting for a night, Yi Chenfeng left the Peach Blossom House early in the morning and arrived at the White Cloud Shop located in the northwest of the Triple Thunder Dominion. It was located in the depths of a garden and was built in an ancient style. It was very noisy and had a long history. This shop was a secret place that the Bai clan had spent countless years building in the Triple Thunder Dominion. Only a few people in the Bai clan knew about it. "Young master, may I know what you want to buy?" Yi Chinfeng had just walked into the shop when a sweet-looking woman wearing a silk dress and light makeup walked over. She had a faint smile on her face as she asked softly, "What are you doing?" "I want to see your shopkeeper to discuss a business deal." Yi Chinfeng replied with a smile and said softly, "Young master, please come with me. I will take you to see our shopkeeper." After saying that, the sweet-looking woman gently swayed her sexy waist and led Yi Chinfeng to the back hall. After a while, a white-robed old man with white hair and a ruddy complexion came to the back hall. He looked deeply at Yi Chinfeng, who was drinking tea, and said slowly, "I heard that you want to do business with me?" "Yes, I want to sell 30 stalks of white jade grass. Do you want them?" Yi Chinfeng put down the teacup in his hand and asked with a smile, "White jade grass." The white-robed old man's eyes lit up, and he asked in a low voice, "How much are you going to sell them for?" 60,000 upper-grade soul crystals. Yi Chinfeng said, "Well, we will take these 30 stalks of white jade grass. Please come with me." After saying that, the white-robed old man led Yi Chinfeng to a secret room shrouded in restriction. "Young master, can you let me take a look at those 30 stalks of white jade grass? I want to praise their quality," the white-robed old man asked. "Sure." Yi Chinfeng nodded and took out a token with a white maple leaf engraved on it, as well as a letter, and handed it to the white-robed old man. After quickly skimming through the letter written by Bai Feng, the white-robed old man was completely sure of Yi Chinfeng's identity. The vigilance on his face disappeared, and he said softly, "Young master, the ancestor gave me a secret letter, telling me to cooperate fully with young master. Does young master have anything to do for young master?" "I need a new identity," Yi Chinfeng said. After the battle with the star-robed man and the black-robed old man, Yi Chinfeng guessed that Feng Chen's identity had been exposed. Once he appeared, it would immediately attract the attention of Xingluo Heaven City's experts. Therefore, he needed a new identity. This is not a problem. However, Gold Star Cultivator and Diamond Star Cultivator are too eye-catching and can easily cause unnecessary trouble. I will give young Master Yi a Silver Star Cultivator identity. The white-robed old man pondered and said, "Okay." Yi Chinfeng nodded and agreed. "Oh, right, old Bai, I also want to know everything about the Star Emperor. I also want to inquire about a few spirit items. Can you see if the Xingluo Heaven City has them?" Yi Chinfeng felt that the death of the Star Emperor involved a lot of things. He wanted to know more about it. He also mentioned the main ingredients for refining the Extreme Emperor Pill and True Spirit Quenching Body Pill. "Young Master Yi, I do have some information about the Star Emperor. The spirit items you mentioned, the ancestor also told me to pay attention to some of them. However, those things are too rare. Recently, I only heard about the blood dragon ginseng." The white-robed old man said, "Old Bai, where can I trade for the blood dragon ginseng?" Yi Chinfeng's eyes lit up and asked. The blood dragon ginseng was the most important and most crucial ingredient for refining the Extreme Emperor Pill. Its quality and age were directly related to the grade of the pill. Not long ago, the experts of the Xingluo Heaven City found an ancient medicine garden in an ancient ruin. Inside, there were many spirit herbs that grew for hundreds of thousands of years. The blood dragon ginseng that young master needs has been seen in the ancient medicine garden. However, that ancient medicine garden is full of dangers and has many hidden forbidances. The Xingluo Heaven City sent many experts and paid a great price to break a small part of the forbidance and pick an extremely small number of ancient spirit herbs. In order to reduce casualties, that woman Sha Bingyun deliberately used the ancient medicine garden as a top-level mission in the Triple Thunder Territory. Experts with Silver Star cultivators and above can accept this mission. No matter who it is, As long as they can pick an ancient spirit herb from the ancient ruins, they can exchange it for a large amount of points. The white-robed old man said, "Isn't Sha Bingyun afraid that the ancient spirit herbs will be picked by someone and leave the Xingluo Heaven City empty-handed?" Yi Qinfeng asked in astonishment. "That woman Sha Bingyun cannot be underestimated. She has already sent experts from the Xingluo Heaven City to lie in ambush near the ancient medicine garden. If someone really picks an ancient spirit herb from the ancient medicine garden, they won't be able to bring it out alive. So that's how it is." Although the ancient medicine garden was full of danger, Yi Qinfeng still decided to make a trip and try to pick the blood dragon ginseng. If the ancient medicine garden really had the blood dragon ginseng, then the extremely slow growing blood dragon ginseng would definitely have matured. Using it to refine medicine would have a great chance of refining the best quality extreme emperor pill. About 2 hours later, Yi Qinfeng took the Star Emperor's information jade strip and his new identity token and left the White Cloud store. He directly went to the 1,000-layer building to accept the mission of picking the ancient spirit herbs in the ancient medicine garden. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.